Chapter 443. On the top floor of the Xinqing skyscraper, the wind blew Wang Lan's hair. The wind compressor on the top floor was making a roaring sound. More than 10 Heavenly Sword Bureau's special agents were collecting evidence inch by inch. Wang Lan, the sniper, was lying in ambush here. It's 1,500 meters away from where Ms. Wang Qi was assassinated. The bullet's trajectory will pass through the high-rise area in front. The airflow in the high-rise area is very unstable. I've asked the superintendent's special forces experts. The bullet will cause strong fluctuations when it passes through the airflow area. Ordinary snipers can't accurately shoot with this trajectory. This shows that this sniper is definitely an expert among experts. The killer's last traces are near the fence. We've already checked the ventilation ducts, fire exits, and all other possible escape routes. We've confirmed that there are no traces of the killer leaving. Could it be a Takashi Hoshi? It's unlikely. There aren't many people in the world who have such a high level of sniping skills. Moreover, this person is a Takashi Hoshi. You know that Takashi Hoshi specializes in Takashi Hoshi skills. No Takashi Hoshi would train hard in marksmanship. Even if there are some who like to shoot from the back, they're definitely not good with sniper rifles. A sniper is not as simple as aiming and shooting. There are too many skills to master. The technical difficulty is no less than that of a top engineer. If it's not a Takashi Hoshi, how did he escape from the Xinqing skyscraper? There are no blind spots from the 88th floor of the Xinqing skyscraper. Even if he's a Spider-Man, he can't escape being recorded. Wang Lan walked to the fence and looked up at the signal tower in the distance. Wang Lan raised his hand. What tower is this? 5G signal tower, 300 meters away. Are there any cameras recording the signal tower? Su Shiyun immediately took out his walkie-talkie. Communications division, take note. There's a signal tower 300 meters away from the southeast defensive line of the Xinqing building. Mobilize all the cameras that can record the signal tower. See if there are any suspicious people after the incident. He waited on the top floor of the new city building. About half an hour later, he received a reply. No surveillance equipment captured it. However, 20 minutes after the incident, the employees of the power company attempted to climb up the signal tower to maintain the equipment, but they were stopped by our colleagues. Then persuade him to return. Wang Lan's expression froze. He quickly flew up and floated to the side of the signal tower. From a high vantage point, he inspected the ground bit by bit. At a height parallel to the new city building, a slightly deformed alloy plate was found. In an instant, Wang Lan's mind filled with images. A figure swinging from the new city's skyscraper crashed into the signal tower, deforming the alloy plate. Wang Lan slowly floated back to the top floor of the new city skyscraper. Su Shiyun looked at Wang Lan bitterly. It's great to be able to fly. You don't know how? Learn it if you don't know how, Wang Lan replied angrily. I'm an earth element, and you're telling me to learn? If I was a wind element, I would have learned it long ago. This is the earth element's light and heavy displacement. All 7 elements seem to be able to fly, right? Pretend I didn't say anything. Su Shiyun rolled his eyes. Light and heavy displacement was an S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill. You're telling me to learn it? Is it that easy to learn? All 7 elements did have the ability to fly, but most of them were advanced Takashi Hoshi skills. The killer should have evacuated from the signal tower. The killer had a steel wire catapult device. He shot to the top of the signal tower and swung down to the tower to safely evacuate. The group left the new city building and quickly found the guard who saw the maintenance worker. When we received the alarm, we immediately rushed to the scene and pulled up the cordon to evacuate the crowd. Then I saw a worker climbing up the signal tower. I immediately called him down. That person was from the power company and said that he was here to maintain the signal tower. I checked his work ID and confirmed that there was no problem. Then I quickly asked him to leave. This person probably wasn't climbing up. He must have just come down. When he saw the superintendent, he quickly pretended to climb up. Wang Lan immediately analyzed. After listening to Wang Lan's words, the guard suddenly slapped his thigh. I screwed up. I actually let the suspect go. Damn it. Do you still remember what that person looked like? What that person looked like? It was a very ordinary face. There was nothing special about it. But at that time, he seemed to be injured. There was blood on his forehead. He said that he was accidentally scratched by the screws when he was climbing up the steel frame. Where was the wound? Between his eyebrows. The guard pointed at his eyebrows. Brother Sue, there must be bloodstains left by the killer on the signal tower. Get someone to look for it. Okay. At this time, Wang Lan's phone suddenly rang. Hello, Sister Zeng. Andy is awake? That's great. I'm coming back. After hanging up the phone, Wang Lan's figure flashed and rushed into the sky, quickly flying to the hospital. When he arrived at the hospital, his Andy's ward had been arranged in an independent high-class nursing home. The outer layer was protected by armed guards. The inner layer was protected by the Heavenly Sword Bureau's operations department. In the ward, there was also a special operations team led by Zhang Xiaomo. With such an impenetrable defense, even Wang Lan could not sneak in silently. When he arrived outside the ward, his Annie was still connected to an oxygen tube. However, some color had returned to her face. Auntie, how are you feeling? Madame Wang Qi's physical condition is beyond my imagination. The doctor who operated on Wang Qi said excitedly. When I operated on Madame Wang Qi, I found it strange that she could survive such a fatal gunshot wound. Now, her recovery speed is several times faster than ordinary people. If I didn't repeatedly confirm that Madame Wang Qi was an ordinary person, I would have suspected that she was a Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan looked at the doctor with glasses cautiously. His excited tone made Wang Lan think of something bad. Doctor and I, please leave us for a moment. Zheng Xiaomo reminded him softly. Oh, okay. Although Madame Wang Qi's recovery speed is very strong, she just had an operation after all. She needs more rest. 10 minutes at most. I understand. Andy squinted her eyes. She looked very weak, but her eyes were very clear. Andy, how are you? My head is a little dizzy and my chest hurts a little. Other than that, I'm fine. Do you remember that you were shot by an assassin? Yes. I was driving when I was suddenly shot in the chest. Annie was still very weak, so it was very difficult for her to speak. She only said a few words, but her breathing was already rapid. Then, do you know who wanted to assassinate you? Do you have anyone in mind? Annie didn't say anything. She just shook her head. My head is very dizzy. I can't remember many things. Wang Lan didn't have the heart to ask more questions, seeing that she was sweating profusely again. She bent down and gently kissed her aunt's forehead. Don't worry. I will find out who it is. I will give you justice no matter who it is. Have a good rest. Jia is under protection. She is safe. Don't worry. Okay. You be careful too. Don't worry. Not many people in the world can hurt me. In the past, Wang Lan wouldn't have dared to say such words. But now he did. In his normal state, Wang Lan was as strong as a titled battle pet warrior. In his phoenix form, he could even fight against powerful warriors like the 5 emperors. Wang Lan left the hospital and went back to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. As soon as he entered Su Shiyun's office, Su Shiyun stood up excitedly. Wang Lan, we found it. Su Shiyun said. We searched the signal tower inch by inch. Finally, we found some blood on a screw. The assassin can't get away now. Have you confirmed the identity of the assassin? Not yet. The laboratory is running tests. Director Liu has given a strict order. Ms. Wang Qi's case is the highest priority. Be patient. I don't care if he is a human or a ghost. I will see how he dies this time. Regardless of whether it was the Flame Emperor's faction or Wang Lan's current strength and background, they were not people that anyone could provoke without restraint. Before Wang Lan was fully fledged, the Duanmu family had tried to destroy the Duanmu family. At the moment, Wang Lan was fully fledged. Anyone who dared to provoke him would be courting death. 2 hours later, the laboratory test results came out. Colonel Wang, Captain Su, the DNA test results are out. The blood belongs to a man named Duan Lingmu. Duan Lingmu was born in the year 4990. He is 32 years old this year. His grades have been excellent since he was young. At the age of 14, he failed his soul resonance awakening and was admitted to Zhangshi City First High School. Then, he was admitted to Xiangjiang Military College with excellent grades. He served in the Southeast Military Region in the year 5012. This is all we can find. It's good enough that we can find this far. Let's go and report to Director Liu. When Wang Lan went to Liu Zhao's office, Liu Zhao also got the assassin's identity and used his authority to investigate immediately. Report. Come in. Wang Lan and Su Shiyun walked into Liu Zhao's office. Wang Lan looked at the gold star on Liu Zhao's shoulder. He was in a trance. Last year, Liu Zhao was still a senior colonel. After the Heavenly Sword Bureau was upgraded, Liu Zhao's rank also went up. Wang Lan took most of the credit for this. You know Duan Lingmu's identity, right? I just checked. The Southeast Military Region showed that Duan Lingmu has been dead for 2 years. Dead. Wang Lan's face instantly turned gloomy. Dead. He was killed in a border drug enforcement operation and was awarded the title of a martyr. What about his body? Fell off a cliff and was smashed to pieces. So it seems that he didn't die at all. He was captured and then defected. Su Shiyun said angrily, "Damn it. If that's the case, the trail is broken again. What about the target of the operation? Are there drug lords who haven't been killed? Did those drug lords capture Duan Lingmu? No, that operation was very successful. All the drug lords were executed. That's not right." Wang Lan suddenly shouted. If Duan Lingmu was sacrificed, his family should know about his sacrifice and receive a pension. But the local government's files still show that he was in the military. If Duan Lingmu was sacrificed, there was no need to keep his identity a secret. Even if it was for confidentiality, it should be briefly said that he was sacrificed in a certain mission. His family still thinks that Duan Lingmu is still in the military. That's right. Liu Zhao suddenly reacted. He quickly picked up the phone again and dialed the number. Chapter 444. Even though the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the military were both under the Ministry of National Defense, the obstacles of cross-border investigations were still very obvious. Liu Zhao and Wang Lan asked people separately and worked together with He Jinze to investigate Duan Suzmu's whereabouts. Wang Lan, Duan Suzmu entered the Special Forces after a year of service, and he was in the highly classified 033 unit. But from the inside information, Duan Suzmu didn't participate in the so-called drug cleanup operation. Although the 033 Commando unit participated in that operation, it wasn't Duan Suzmu's unit. So, this sacrifice report is fake. He Jinze called Wang Lan a day later. Uncle He, can you find out where Duan Suzmu went? The level of confidentiality is too high. Even a major general like me can't find out. If I continue to investigate, I'll make a mistake. Understand? Thank you, Uncle He. Wang Qi, how is she? Auntie's life is no longer in danger. That's good. Don't worry about it. If it doesn't work, ask Di Lao. I don't believe that Di Lao will just sit back and do nothing. Understand? I'll hang up if there's nothing else. As soon as he hung up, Su Shiyun suddenly walked in from outside. Wang Lan, the director wants to see you. Wang Lan didn't hesitate and quickly walked to Liu Zhao's office. Wang Lan, I've only found one direction. Duan Suzmu was taken away by a secret department. From the signs, this secret department is very likely to be the General Staff Department. General Staff Department? Wang Lan's eyes suddenly darkened. The General Staff Department was a department that the Heavenly Sword Bureau called a relevant department. In terms of status, it was basically on the same level as the International Security Committee. The International Security Committee was the highest level official Takashi Hoshi organization and was directly under the United Nations. The International Security Committee was beyond the concept of a country and was truly a global strategic department. If the International Peacekeeping Force was the conventional force of the United Nations, the International Security Committee was the most elite force of the United Nations. However, because it was an international security force, the Jade State only had 1/5 of the control over the International Security Committee. The General Staff Department was a secret department under the direct control of the Jade State. Because of this, if anything happened in Jade State that could endanger the entire world, it would first have to go through the General Staff Department before the International Security Committee could get involved. Hence, once they got involved with the General Staff Department, it would be a huge problem. Little Ant's identity was special. It wasn't just her identity that was special. His aunt's company, Jai Biotechnology, was hailed as the company with the most potential in the world. At the same time, his aunt was one of the top 5 super scientists in the world. Not strength, but influence. Therefore, if he hurt his aunt, he would not only hurt Wang Lan's family and Yin Emperor's sister, but it would also bring about an unpredictable impact on the Jade State and even the whole world. Duan Lingmu was from the General Staff Department? If the General Staff Department was behind Annie's assassination, then was it a political game or... Thinking of this, Wang Lan's scalp suddenly exploded. Wang Lan, this matter is going to blow up. It might be out of our control. Should we tell Di Lao and ask for his opinion? It's not that we are afraid of the General Staff Department, but since they are involved, we must take precautions in advance. Otherwise, we will be in a passive position. Wang Lan's eyes flashed quickly, but in the end, he shook his head. Don't worry. Let me make a call and ask someone to investigate. If it's really the General Staff Department, then we must tell Di Lao, but what if it's not? Wang Lan didn't hide it from Lu Zhao and directly dialed Yu Ruiyun's number. The phone rang a few times before it was picked up. Hello. Yu Ruiyun's voice was very low. She deliberately lowered her voice, probably because of the inconvenient environment. Ruiyun, I'm sorry to disturb you. My aunt was assassinated the day before yesterday. The murderer was a man named Duan Lingmu, who served in the Southeast Military Region's 033 unit. He was then recruited by a special department, probably the General Staff Department. I need you to help me investigate. Okay, give me a day. Thank you. You're welcome. The short phone call ended in less than a minute. After leaving the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Wang Lan went to Shanting Bay. Wang Lan didn't expect Jiang Xinyu and CSCC to be there. Song Jia rushed over when she saw Wang Lan. Brother, how's my mom? Don't hide it from me. Wang Lan showed a reassuring smile. Aunt's life is no longer in danger, but she still needs to rest. I've arranged enough people to protect her, don't worry. Then can I go and see her? Not for now. Stay at home and don't go out, and don't leave the sight of your sisters. Wang Lan looked at Zhang Yeqiu and her sister, then smiled at Jiang Xinyu and CSCC. Thank you for your hard work these days. We're fine. It's easy to watch TV with Jia Jia. But how's the investigation going on your side? I heard from the brothers that it's difficult to deal with them. There's already a lot of progress. I believe that the murderer will surface soon. Wang Lan said confidently. Wang Lan, do you need our help? Jiang Xinyu asked quickly. No, this matter will be handled by the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Aunt was assassinated because we let down our guard. With Aunt's status, there should be someone protecting her. There will definitely be in the future. I'm just here to take a look. I'll leave in a while. You must be careful at home. The motive of the person behind this is unknown, but it's definitely not as simple as an assassination. Suddenly, Wang Lan's phone rang. Seeing that it was Wang Qianfeng calling, Wang Lan quickly picked it up. Hello, Uncle Wang, what? Wang Lan's expression changed again. Stay at home. I'm going out for a while. With that, he disappeared in a flash. Duan Lingmu's identity hadn't been investigated yet, but his body was found first. Wang Qianfeng just called to tell him that the sanitation workers found a body in the small pond under the Sioux City Viaduct. The superintendent immediately took action, but found that the body was actually Duan Lingmu, whom the Heavenly Sword Bureau had been looking for all day. He immediately notified the Heavenly Sword Bureau, which led to this call. Wang Lan flew to the scene of the incident. The superintendent's men had already set up a cordon around the area, and Li Gu and his brothers from the Heavenly Sword Bureau were investigating the scene. Wang Lan slowly landed in front of Wang Qianfeng. Uncle Wang, Wang Lan, the person behind this is very fast and ruthless. We haven't found any breakthrough clues, and they've already finished. Now that Duan Lingmu is dead, it's hard to find who ordered him to do it. That's not necessarily true. If Duan Lingmu didn't betray us, or if he really joined the General Staff Department, then who could order him to assassinate our aunt? Duan Lingmu must know our aunt's identity, and he should know how big of an impact our aunt's death would have on Jade State. So the person who could make him do that might be someone he couldn't refuse. This may be the only clue at the moment, but Wang Qianfeng looked up at the sky and sighed. The person behind this can break the rules, but we can't. Even if we know who the person behind this is, we must have solid evidence. So, the only hope now is that the General Staff Department will have good news. If Duan Lingmu joined the General Staff Department, then his every action will be traceable. By the way, Wang Qi's body is recovering quickly. I heard from Xiaoma that he can take a statement. I'm planning to go to the hospital. Why don't you come with me? Okay. The scene was cleaned up. Duan Lingmu was shot 7 times in the chest and died. Other than the bullet trajectory analysis, there were no valuable clues left. These professional things should be left to the professionals. Wang Lan looked around and found nothing. So he took Wang Qianfeng's car back to the hospital. A day had passed, and their aunt's body was recovering at an amazing speed. Yesterday, their aunt was lying on the bed and practicing talking, but now she could sit up on the bed. Wang Lan and Wang Qianfeng came to the ward, and before they entered the door, they heard a surprised voice. The two of them entered, and it was the same doctor who was recording data in a folder and exclaiming, "Madam Wang Qi, your recovery is the fastest I've ever seen. No, it's many times faster than the fastest I've ever seen. Originally, with your injury, you wouldn't be able to get out of bed for at least 3 months. But now, I can see that you'll recover in less than 10 days. Hearing the doctor's words, their aunt's face was a bit unnatural. When Zheng Xiaoma saw Wang Lan and Wang Qianfeng, she quickly stood up and asked the doctor to leave the ward in a friendly manner. Xiaoqi, with your current physical condition, you can give a statement, right? We need to understand what happened in detail, Wang Qianfeng said, and Zheng Xiaoma opened the statement form. By the way, Annie, your recovery is a bit too fast. For what I heard from the doctor just now, it seems like he's trying to do something to you. Wang Lan took the opportunity to ask the question in his heart. Lan, I should have told you last time. I wasn't in a good state, so I think the reason why I recovered so quickly is related to the medicine I injected. Medicine? Wang Lan and Wang Qianfeng asked in surprise at the same time. In an instant, the two of them thought that the assassination might be related to this. This is a type of telomerase. Do you know what telomerase is? Wang Qianfeng shook his head blankly. Wang Lan was thoughtful. Is it an enzyme that synthesizes the telomeres that promotes cell division? Yes, you should know that the biggest difference between Takashi Hoshi and ordinary people is the X gene. But in fact, the X gene is a special characteristic of cells. Since Takashi Hoshi were born from ordinary people, and the child of 2 ordinary people would also awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent. In theory, every ordinary person has the X gene. Can you understand this? Wang Qianfeng still shook his head blankly. If an ordinary person doesn't have the X gene, they can't give birth to a child with the X gene. The genetic sequence of any child comes from their parents. So every ordinary person has a recessive X gene. Wang Lan said softly. Correct. But during the development of ordinary people, the X gene doesn't develop successfully, so they don't have the chance to awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent. And telomeres are substances that allow cells to divide and regenerate. But the number of times they can divide is limited. What if the telomeres can divide infinitely? Through gene editing and cultivation, our laboratory has successfully extracted the X gene sequence from ordinary people and cultivated X gene cells that carry large amounts of telomerase. These cells have the ability to divide infinitely. This is the latest research result of the past year. SSS-. Hearing this, Zheng Xiaoma and Wang Qianfeng both gasped. Wang Lan also looked at her aunt with a dumbfounded expression. In his mind, there were only 4 words that kept echoing. As expected of you. Chapter 445. Why didn't you tell me about such an important clue earlier? Wang Lan said hurriedly as he came back to his senses. I was confused at the time. After I woke up completely, I didn't dare to tell anyone but you. But my research project is very secretive. Even my secretary doesn't know about it. But the mastermind dared to assassinate you. This shows that this project is not secretive. If the mastermind dared to take such a big risk, it must be related to your research, Wang Lan said thoughtfully. That, Wang Qi? You've developed it? Wang Qianfeng also came back to his senses and asked in disbelief, "You can make an ordinary person awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent?" "Not yet." Ani shook her head. "I just completed the X gene cells with telomerase. After I was shot, I didn't have time to think about it and injected myself before I passed out." Hearing this, Wang Lan's face suddenly darkened. "You used yourself as an experiment?" "I'm not that crazy. The X gene cells were refined for my body at first, but later on, the cells used for the experiment were all cultivated. I'm not that stupid to cut a piece of flesh from my body every time I use it. The situation was critical at the time, so I had no choice. The original cells used to test the drug were cultivated by my cells, so there shouldn't be any rejection. So I injected myself without thinking. Then, Ani, your recovery ability might really be related to the drug, and you might really awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent." "Really?" "But I've estimated that the probability of awakening an ordinary person with the awakening potion is not high. It should be less than 30%, and there's no guarantee that it can be injected multiple times. This requires further research. The awakening potion can only be said to be half successful. Did I succeed with one injection?" Jia Jia awakened a few days ago. Before her awakening, her cell vitality was dozens of times that of an ordinary person. Her cell activity was also very exaggerated. Jia Jia went to the hospital for a checkup. Although your situation isn't as obvious as Jia Jia's, it's essentially the same. Regardless of whether it was 30% or 10%, as long as it wasn't 0%, it was a revolutionary invention. The probability of an ordinary person awakening a Takashi Hoshi was 1 in 1,000. The Jade State had a population of 1 per billion, but only 3 million Takashi Hoshi awakened. Of course, this also had to do with the fact that Takashi Hoshi had to fight all year round and was considered a high-risk occupation. There were too few Takashi Hoshi. Even though the Jade State had the most Takashi Hoshi in the world, there were still too few of them. Although the country had always promoted the equality of Takashi Hoshi and ordinary people on the level of law and public opinion. However, social class existed. Takashi Hoshi were superior in the eyes of ordinary people, and Takashi Hoshi could easily obtain things that ordinary people could only dream of. As long as one was a Takashi Hoshi, one would definitely be able to get into the Seibu Gakuen. Even if it was a little bit worse, it would still be a bachelor's degree. As long as one was a Takashi Hoshi, one's entire family would be able to enjoy free medical care and education. One could even buy a house at a very cheap price. These were things that most ordinary people couldn't obtain even if they worked hard for their entire lives. The rich among ordinary people might live a comfortable life, but there were too few ordinary people who were considered rich. If his aunt's awakening potion was successfully developed, the country would definitely mobilize the entire country's resources to allow ordinary people to inject it. Even if only 1 in 10,000 people could become a Starsea Realm expert, the Jade State's strength against the demons would increase by more than 10 times. Just thinking about this scene made one tremble with excitement. The awakening potion. Who else knows about it besides you? Wang Lan quickly asked. I've been researching it with Dr. Chun. 2 years ago, Dr. Chun came to me and told me that he had discovered cells that contain the X gene. However, these cells no longer had telomeres. Cells without telomeres can't be cultivated. His discovery piqued my interest, but I also knew that if this thing was leaked, it would cause a huge uproar. We've been researching it in secret for 2 years, and Dr. Chun hasn't left the research building for 2 years. Dr. Chun? He's now the most suspicious person. Who are you? Suddenly, a loud voice came from outside the door, and the conversation in the room stopped. We're from the General Staff Department, and we're on a secret mission. Please step aside. I'm sorry. No one can enter without a warrant from Director Liu. Director Liu's warrant? If Director Liu's warrant is useful, then what about the warrant from the Ministry of National Defense? Xiao Qian, let them in. Wang Qianfeng's voice was heard, and 3 people in suits came in. Chi-Chi, how are you? Are you feeling better? Does it hurt? As soon as a middle-aged man entered the room, he nervously greeted his aunt who was lying on the bed. His expression and demeanor were like a popular term on the internet. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Yu. I'm fine now, Aunt said indifferently. Hey, aren't we friends? Why are you being so polite? I heard that you were assassinated, and I was scared. Fortunately, you're fine. I couldn't rest assured if I didn't see it with my own eyes. You went through our layers of protection just to see my aunt. Wang Lan's eyes suddenly changed. He glanced at the two people behind the middle-aged man and became vigilant. You're Wang Lan, right? The middle-aged man smiled gently and reached out his hand to Wang Lan. I'm Yu Ruohuai. I often hear Ruoyun mention you. You saved Ruoyun's life before, and you're a young hero recognized by my uncle. I have faith in you, young man. Wang Lan couldn't figure out this person's shrewdness. When Wang Qianfeng heard Yu Ruohuai's words, he frowned slightly. Zhenjiang Wang Mansion's Yu Ruohuai? No, it's Zhenjiang City's Yu family. What era is it now? Zhenjiang Wang Mansion? Wang Lan, don't think that I'm older than you by 10 or 20 years. My mentality is young, and I don't have those old-fashioned ideas. Do you want to play King of Glory? I'm a rogue. Let's play together another day. I don't play games. Why are you the same as Rian? You don't even play games? You're young now, so you should sing, drink, and play games. Mr. Yu, do you have anything else to say? If not, please leave. Don't disturb Ms. Wang Qi's rest. Chi, I'm relieved to see that you're fine. Why didn't you pick up my messages and calls? I've been worried for the past 2 days. My phone is broken. If that's the case, I'll get the manufacturer to customize a phone for you. It has a bulletproof titanium shell and the Apocalypse military system. I guarantee that it's the most advanced phone in the world with the most features. Also, leave this matter to me. No matter who did it, I guarantee that his entire family will be in one piece. Yu Ruohuai said as if talking to himself. Get out. Wang Qi shouted with a cold face. Okay. Don't be angry. I'll leave immediately. I'll visit you another day. Wang Qianfeng and Wang Lan asked him to leave, but he did not respond at all. Wang Qi shouted, and Yu Ruohuai left immediately. He even carefully closed the door when he walked out of the ward. Looking at Yu Ruohuai's actions, Wang Lan was even more confused about this person. Auntie, is he chasing after you? Wang Lan asked hesitantly. Yes. Wang Qi did not hide this at all. She admitted bluntly. He's the chairman of Thunderbolt Electronics. His main business is semiconductor, smart chips, and other high-end products. He's from a Yu family? Wang Lan asked again. The future head of the Zhenjiang Palace. Although the dynasty era has ended 200 years ago, the 8 hereditary titles are still hereditary. But this is just a title, just like the titles in Western countries. It's just a status symbol and has no actual power, Wang Qianfeng explained. But if he can mobilize people from the General Staff Department, then there's a problem, and it's just to open a path for him to visit Auntie. Is his purpose here to confirm Auntie's life or death, or something else? Don't read too much into it. Wang Qianfeng hurriedly interrupted Wang Lan's imagination. He knew Wang Lan well. He dared to think of anything. He dared to suspect anything. If he continued to think like this, Yu Ruohuai would be proven to be the mastermind. It's not a secret that the Yu family can mobilize people from the General Staff Department. You know, the Heavenly Sword Bureau system, the Takashi Hoshi military system, and the Takashi Hoshi family system are the least infiltrated. The price is that the General Staff Department is infiltrated. The Takashi Hoshi family is so powerful, you can't guard against them too much. So the General Staff Department became a quarantine station for the Takashi Hoshi family. They threw all the people from the Takashi Hoshi family in there. Yes, the General Staff Department has a high rank and a lot of power, so the Takashi Hoshi family is quite happy. But a lot of power and a high rank depends on how the higher-ups use it. Yu Ruiyan joined the General Staff Department after graduation for this reason. Of course. Okay, don't worry about this question anymore. Continue asking. Wang Qi, are you okay? I'm fine, continue. Who is Professor Chun? Professor Chun is Chun Yaoding, a lifetime honorary professor at Kyoto University and an authoritative scientist in the field of cell research. Before the birth of the life medicine, Professor Chin's anti-cancer drug was the only drug on the market that could effectively stop cancer cells from spreading. So you're saying that you ruined Professor Chin's job? Wang Lan asked with a smile. What are you thinking? Professor Chin only researches anti-cancer. He doesn't produce anti-cancer drugs. Also, defeating cancer is the common goal of all scientists working in this field. How can you say that you ruined someone's job? Also, Dr. Chin's research in the field of cells wasn't limited to anti-cancer. This time, the extraction of the X gene cells and the synthesis of telomerase after 2 years of hard work was almost all thanks to Dr. Chen. I also learned a lot in the past 2 years by Dr. Chen's side. Also, even without me, Professor Chen should be able to independently research it. I only provided him with a research platform. Then why did he want to work with you? I think that with Professor Chen's status, as long as he wants, there should be a lot of people willing to pay for his research. 2 years ago, Professor Chen was doing research in a research institute in the capital, but the final investor withdrew his investment and the institute was sold. Although Professor Chen could find any research institute to continue his research. At that time, I had just announced the genetic coding method and Life One's achievements, so Professor Chen came to talk to me. I took the opportunity to invite him, and then we hit it off. Could it be that Professor Chen purposely approached you? Wang Qianfeng keenly asked. Wang Qi thought about it and shook his head. I don't rule out this possibility, but I can't judge an academic master worthy of my respect. I can't give an answer, but I personally feel that it shouldn't be. Chapter 446. His aunt was kind by nature. If she did not really hate someone, she would not judge someone with evil thoughts. Even though in Wang Lan's eyes, Yu Ruahui and Chen Yaoting's heads were almost shining with a red light of suspicion, she did not suspect them. Auntie, can you tell me how you helped with the research on the awakening potion? Wang Lan asked carefully. Help. Provide funds, provide a lab. Oh yeah, and edit telomerase into the cell's genes to synthesize telomeres. After all, this requires genetic coding technology. Oh, Wang Lan's eyes lit up. Auntie, you should be the only person in the world who can actually use genetic coding technology, right? Even the people in our school who have mastered the genetic coding formula are only in theory. This should be right. Even if there is a second person, I should be the first in the world. What's wrong? Isn't this the end? Wang Lan stood up and paced around. Dr. Chen discovered the X gene cells and had the technology to cultivate the telomerase of the X gene cells. However, he did not have the technology to create the X gene cells that can self-divide and reproduce. It's like he has a treasure house, but the key to the treasure house is in Ani's hands. He approached you to use your key to open the treasure house. Now that the treasure house has been opened, as long as he kills you, the treasure will be his alone. I think Dr. Chen should have learned about genetic coding from you, right? Wang Qi's face suddenly changed because what Wang Lan said had already happened. Dr. Chen had indeed been learning genetic coding technology from Wang Qi. As Wang Qi had learned the cutting-edge technology from Dr. Chen in the field of cell biology, she had honestly taught Dr. Chen in return. Looks like I guessed right. Uncle Wang, arrest Dr. Chen immediately. Whether it's him or not, use the name of protection to restrain him. Okay, I'll make the call now. Wang Qianfeng left after making the call. Wang Lan sat in the ward and picked up an apple to peel for his aunt. At this moment, Zheng Xiaoma opened the door and walked into the ward angrily. Sister Zheng, why are you so angry? Wang Lan asked casually. Although Wang Lan had almost never worked with Zheng Xiaoma, Wang Lan had always respected Zheng Xiaoma. If not for Zheng Xiaoma's timely arrival, Wang Lan might have died long ago. It's all because of those guys outside. The General Staff Department let them go after a few words. What's the use of such a celestial sword special service? Just a few sentences? Yes, the 2 General Staff Department officers took out their credentials and said that they were sent by the central government to investigate the assassination of Madame Wang Qi. In the face of the General Staff Department, they directly forgot about Director Liu's orders. It's not their fault. After all, the General Staff Department is a relevant department in our hearts. We didn't think that the General Staff Department would make a move. Now that we know, we just need to spread the word. Calm down, too. Come and have an apple. Brothers, you just need to educate them. Educate them? Oomph. I'll fire them all. Fire them? Wang Lan looked at Zheng Xiaoma in shock. Do you have to be so harsh? It's not easy to get into the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Not allowing any mistakes is the iron law of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, especially when it comes to protecting Madame Wang Qi. Xiaoma, you're making me embarrassed. Don't punish them so harshly. They didn't do it on purpose. Wang Qi quickly said, Yes, Sister Zheng, I don't think there will be a next time. Zheng Xiaoma frowned and thought for a bit. Finally, she sighed. It's not up to me to fire them or not. It needs to be decided by the law enforcement office and then signed by the director. Anyway, I'll remember their mistakes. By the way, Wang Lan, you're smart. Do you have any suspects? There are 2 suspects. Dr. Chun is basically dead. He approached Annie with a purpose. It's the awakening potion. It's a magical potion that can awaken Takashi Hoshi talents. What a great contribution. Not to mention leaving a name in history. It's even possible for him to become a god. Do you think Xin Yaoting doesn't have any ideas? The other one is Yu Ruohui. I originally suspected the General Staff Department. After all, the General Staff Department is a bit special, and Dr. Chun is very likely to be from there. The cake is too big, but they want to eat it alone. If the Takashi Hoshi family is the only one who has the awakening potion, they can do whatever they want. By then, not only will normal people stand on their side, even people who weren't on their side in the first place might. The Takashi Hoshi family has always wanted to restore the dynasty. I see. Then Yu Ruohui came today. Even we think it's a miracle that Annie didn't die from such serious injuries. Of course, they don't believe it, so they came to confirm it. If Annie has been killed, then their goal has been achieved. If Annie is still alive, then their goal has been achieved. What? The awakening potion succeeded. Otherwise, there's no way to explain it. Right? How thoughtful. Zheng Xiaoma couldn't help but feel a chill down her spine as she let out a long sigh. So this can't be small anymore. Wang Lan gently put away the fruit knife. Ding, ding, ding. His phone suddenly rang. Wang Lan took out his phone and answered the call. Uncle Wang. Wang Lan, something happened. Dr. Chun is dead. What? Wang Lan stood up. What's going on? Was it a homicide? We can't be sure now. He died in a traffic accident. The driver is under control, but there's nothing wrong with the driver. Where is he now? At the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Okay, I'll be right there. After hanging up, Wang Lan hurried to the door. After taking 2 steps, he suddenly stopped and quickly dialed a number. Hello, Sinew. Come to the National Defense Hospital with Xiangwen. After putting down the phone, Wang Lan sat back on the chair and fell into deep thought. Little Ant was stabbed. Wang Lan was almost certain that Dr. Chun wanted to take the research results for himself. Duan Lingmu was related to the General Staff Department. This made Wang Lan subconsciously think that this was a scheme set up by the Takashi Hoshi family. However, Professor Chen's death had also caused an unexpected contradiction to appear in the originally logical explanation. Only Little Ant and Dr. Chun had the awakening potion. From the time Little Ant was stabbed to Dr. Chen's death in the car accident, less than 24 hours had passed. Was it the Takashi Hoshi family? Not very likely. Genetic coding technology couldn't be explained clearly by things on paper. Little Ant's gene editing formula had been announced for 2 years, but no one had announced that they had successfully created the gene potion. The genetic formula was still a theory. The only one who could turn the theory into reality was Little Ant. Now, there might be Dr. Chun as well. So even if he wanted to get rid of the rabbit, he should wait for Dr. Chun to pass down the awakening potion. And Wang Lan also believed that Dr. Chun wouldn't be so stupid. The awakening potion was his only protective talisman. He couldn't reveal everything. Even if he used threats and promises, he wouldn't have the time to do so. This was because the awakening potion wasn't really successful before Little Ant was assassinated. If it wasn't for the critical situation, Little Ant wouldn't have taken the risk to inject it. Then, the people behind Xin Yaoting hadn't gotten the results of the research. Why was Xin Yaoting killed? Could it be because Little Ant survived? That couldn't be right. Little Ant's identity meant that she couldn't be controlled by the Takashi Hoshi family. If the Takashi Hoshi family couldn't monopolize the awakening potion, their plan wouldn't succeed. If the country monopolized it, the Takashi Hoshi family wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow. Imagine if the countries won. For billion citizens supported the government, how could the Takashi Hoshi family fight against the country's citizens? So no matter what, the Takashi Hoshi family wouldn't kill Qin Yaoding. They would even protect Qin Yaoding. Wang Lan, what happened? Zheng Xiaoma hesitated for a long time before asking. Her auntie stared at Wang Lan intently. Lan, did something happen? Did you call Xinyu and the others over? Wasn't Xinyu protecting Jejia? Did something happen to Jejia? Wang Lan instantly came back to his senses. Little Ant, aren't you imagining things a bit too much? Jejia is fine. To be honest, Jejia's protective force is stronger than yours. Don't worry. I called Xinyu over to take over my shift. I'm not doubting Sister Zheng's ability, but if the mastermind is the Takashi Hoshi family, then I'm really worried. Xinyu is very strong. Even if a Star Sea Realm cultivator came, she would have the strength to fight. Jejia has CSCC, and her strength isn't below Xinyu's. After explaining, the worry on Wang Qi's face dissipated. Although Wang Lan still didn't say what happened, it was enough. Wang Lan hinted that it wasn't good to say, and Zheng Xiaoma naturally didn't ask. Soon, Jiang Xinyu arrived, and Wang Lan personally went to the hospital to receive them. I'm going out to investigate a case. I'll leave Little Ant's safety to you. Xiang Wen, I know about your Heaven's Eye. Keep a close eye on the surroundings for me. If there's anything strange, immediately tell me. Xinyu, you must be careful. If there's an attack, don't worry about it. Just call me. I've left the coordinates here, and I'll be there in an instant. And okay, don't worry. Jiang Xinyu nodded obediently. When Wang Qi saw this, her eyes immediately lit up. Wang Lan left the hospital and directly flew to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. He hurriedly ran to the Heavenly Sword Bureau's interrogation room. I swear, I was really careless. I didn't drink, and I wasn't tired when I drove. It was the car's fault. It was really an accident. A middle-aged man in front of him explained in a trembling voice. My brakes didn't work. I've already honked. Also, I was on the green light. I didn't run the red light. It was the car that ran the red light. I'm innocent in terms of traffic laws. It's not about traffic laws now. It's about murder. The middle-aged man probably wanted to curse, but when he looked at the black military uniform in front of him and the epaulets on the man's shoulders, he held back. Uncle Wang. Wang Lan opened the door and entered. Did you kill him to silence him? I'm not sure now. Let me show you the surveillance footage. Wang Qianfeng said as he turned on the television in front of him. On the screen, a truck that had lost control was madly honking its horn as it sped away. In front of him was a flashing yellow light. Suddenly, the yellow light turned green and the truck rushed out of the intersection. At the same time, a black car rushed out of the intersection and collided head-on with the truck. The truck and the car were both very fast. In an instant, the car was flattened and the truck flipped over. The tragic scene of the accident. Chapter 447. Dr. Qin Yaoding was in the car. He died on the spot. After the video ended, Wang Qianfeng said directly, Officer? No, officer. You saw it too. The light was green when I rushed out. It was the car that ran the red light. Your brakes failed and you were still on the road? Wang Qianfeng shouted in a deep voice. The brakes weren't broken when I was on the road. The brakes were fine before. The driver said with a bitter face, it was just at the previous traffic light intersection. My brakes were fine. Wang Qianfeng pulled up the surveillance video. Sure enough, 5 minutes before the accident, the driver's brakes were fine. However, when they were about to reach the next intersection, the brakes suddenly failed and the driver honked frantically. This means that someone tampered with the car. Has the car been checked? The brake sensor is broken. The physical braking function is also destroyed. But if it was destroyed during the journey, then it's too strange. There are surveillance cameras all the way, but nothing was captured. And what's even stranger is that the brakes of the truck were destroyed. Why didn't Dr. Chin's car slow down? Just to run a yellow light? I guess the car's brake system was also destroyed. Only then could this car accident be perfectly created, Wang Lan said solemnly. It was not until the image appeared in front of Wang Lan that Wang Lan really believed that Dr. Chen was really in an accident. But suddenly, Wang Lan realized another problem. Are you sure it was Dr. Chen in a car? Could he have faked his death to escape? I had this suspicion before, but the body at the scene was indeed Dr. Chen's. We were still worried. We tested it with DNA, and it matched Chen Yaoting's. Why did Dr. Chen leave? Where's he going? Wang Lan changed her train of thought and asked. Dr. Chen just received a call from his daughter. The communication department is investigating the specific content of the call. Wang Chu. There's a reply from the communication department. Wang Qianfeng stood up immediately. Wang Lan, let's go. Wang Chu, Officer Wang, just cracked a phone call between Chen Yaoting and his daughter. Chen Yaoting's daughter told Chen Yaoting that she would be entering the operating room at 3 o'clock this afternoon. This time, she might die on the operating table. If she's gone, remember to collect the body. Just this? Yes, that's it. Chen Yaoting's daughter didn't give Chen Yaoting a chance to speak and hung up. Where's the line? Lai City Second People's Hospital, inpatient department. How the brothers from Lai City follow them. On the other side, in the villa, a group of men and women were fighting fiercely. Just as the man was doing his anaerobic exercise, his phone suddenly rang. The man trembled and picked up his phone angrily. But when he saw the caller ID, his expression changed. Why, third uncle? What? Chen Yaoting is dead. The man hurriedly stood up, put on his pajamas, and left the bedroom. Third uncle, I really didn't do it. How could I? Could it be Yin Emperor's people taking revenge? How is that not possible? Right now, they're suspecting us. Since Ryun is involved, that bastard Duan Lingmu. Even if we jump into the Yellow River, we won't be able to clear our names. If they're certain that it's us, they're afraid that we'll slip up, so they'll take drastic measures. Now that Chen Yaoting is dead, do we still dare to make a move on Wang Qi? That must be it. Third, uncle, please speak. I got it. On the other side, Wang Lan was patiently waiting for the results of the investigation from the Heavenly Sword Bureau in Lai City. At the same time, he set up his laptop and frantically sifted through the information on the internet through Xiao AI. Wang Lan, what are you looking for? I remember that Chen Yaoting used to be a researcher at a research institute in the capital. Later, after the institute closed, he came to Sioux City to join my aunt's company. Yes, we've investigated this process. It's completely logical. Of course, now it's confirmed that Chen Yaoting approached Wang Qi with a purpose. What else are you investigating? Who else is Chen Yaoting involved with? You can't find anything. Do you think I didn't investigate in this area? Chen Yaoting's resume is clear. It's cleaner and more straightforward than anyone else's. You can't find any fault with the work of the relevant departments. Aren't we the relevant departments too? Wang Lan casually teased. But I'm not investigating who Chen Yaoting is related to. I'm investigating the previous institute. Chen Yaoting's institute closed before he approached my aunt. How could it be so coincidental? Could this be part of the plan as well? Even if there's a problem with the institute, you can't find any evidence. Without evidence, we can't say anything. Also, after Chen Yaoting left, the institute was acquired by a new technology company. The capital has checked, and there's no problem. What about the researchers? Wang Lan suddenly asked. Yes, when the institute was acquired, Chen Yaoting wasn't the only scientist in it. I just checked. In addition to Chen Yaoting, 5 other scientists left the institute. One continued to teach at Kyoto University. He also has an independent laboratory at Kyoto University. But the whereabouts of the remaining 4 are unknown. There's no record of them leaving or going missing. They're hidden by the relevant departments. I now suspect that Chen Yaoting doesn't own the treasure trove, but it's jointly owned by 5 people. Chen Yaoting approached my aunt for the genetic vaccine production technology, and the X cells and telomerase were developed by that team. Suddenly, a prompt flashed on the computer screen. Xiao AI used her powerful internet searchability and finally found a phone call made by a scientist to his home a year and a half ago. The location of the call was in Sioux City. The phone records were kept for a month at most, and the researchers' phone calls were classified and would be destroyed immediately after the call. This was with Xiao AI's power. She used tens of millions of calculations per minute from the shattered data fragments to sew them back together. Uncle Wang, look, Zhang Jingjing, honorary professor at Kyoto University, academician of the Academy of Sciences. She used to work at the institute with Chun Yaoting. After the institute was acquired, they all left the institute. Zhang Jingjing's whereabouts became a mystery, but she appeared in Sioux City a year and a half ago. Her location? Wutong District. If that's the case, then there's another possibility for Chun Yaoting's murder. The other force set Chun Yaoting up. But that's not right. Unless Chun Yaoting shared the genetic vaccine production technology with the four of them. Chun Yaoting shouldn't be that stupid. Annie said that Chun Yaoting almost never left the institute in the past 2 years. He's here as an undercover agent. It's impossible for him to contact the outside world openly. Annie didn't suspect Chun Yaoting in the past 2 years. The four of them might not have obtained the genetic vaccine production technology. Wang Chu. At this time, a female special agent came to Wang Qianfeng's office. Lai City replied. Chun Yaoting and his daughter, Chun Junting, seem to have a big conflict. 20 years ago, Chun Yaoting delayed his wife's treatment for a scientific research project, which eventually led to his wife's death. Since then, Chun Junting and Chun Yaoting broke off. Especially after Chun Junting became an adult, she stopped contacting Chun Yaoting. 3 years ago, Chun Junting was diagnosed with kidney failure. Her condition has been deteriorating for 3 years, but Chun Yaoting didn't know about it. Chun Junting did have a dialysis operation this afternoon. The attending doctor also thinks that the success rate of the operation is not high. So Chun Junting called Chun Yaoting. It's very likely that this is the last time they meet. It makes sense. Is there a problem with Chun Junting's network? No, because of Chun Junting's illness. Her interpersonal relationships are very simple. By the way, 2 hours ago, Chun Junting's account had an extra 2 million yuan. Chun Yaoting transferred it to her before he left. It's really flawless. Even if you have doubts in your heart, the other party can do things reasonably and you can't find any fault with it. It's the level of a veteran special agent. Very professional. Wang Qianfeng sighed. This was the same as Chun Yaoting getting close to Wang Qi. It was reasonable and there was no problem, even if these coincidences were too coincidental in their eyes. But coincidences were coincidences. They couldn't use too many coincidences as evidence. Wang Chu, I want to investigate that place. That place. Wang Qianfeng pointed to the area Wang Lan drew. Isn't it a bit big? Look around. Since Zhang Jingjing is here, the other 3 might be here too. Wudong District was originally a high-tech park. The 4 of them must be in a research institute. As long as we find evidence of Chun Yaoting's contact with them, the mastermind behind the scenes can't be hidden. Hearing this, Wang Qianfeng couldn't remain calm. What do you want to do? Don't mess around. Uncle Wang, why are you so nervous? Am I the kind of person who messes around? Do you think I don't know what you want to do? What do you mean by finding evidence of their contact with Chun Yaoting is equivalent to solving the case? You want to use a spiritual imprint on a scientist? A scientist's brain is a real treasure. Each of them is a national treasure. Will you pay for it if it's damaged? Their brain is a treasure, but isn't my aunt's life? Wang Lan's face suddenly became gloomy. They can't even compare to my aunt's fingernails. Uncle Wang, do you want me to investigate? You can investigate, but you can't use a spiritual imprint. I'll try my best. Turning around, Wang Lan left Wang Qianfeng's office. Wudong District, also known as Phoenix District. Wudong District was a new industrial area designated by Sioux City in the past 10 years. The area of the district was not large, only less than 50 square kilometers. It was named Phoenix Perches on Wutong Trees, in the hope that this Wudong forest could attract a golden phoenix. Wang Lan drove the 3 people to Wudong District. The entire district was isolated by a wall, and there were infrared sensors every 10 meters. Only people who worked in Wudong District could enter Wudong District. Originally, his aunt's new company was going to move into Wudong District, but the new district gave his aunt a better piece of land. In the end, his aunt chose a new place that was cheap and good. Wang Lan took out his ID and was easily let in by the guards of the industrial area. Entering Wudong district, the first thing he saw was a dazzling array of company and research institute signs. Uncle Guard, do you have the information of all the employees in Wudong district? Yes, everyone who enters and exits Wudong district requires fingerprint and facial recognition. Can you find me 4 people? Zhang Jingjing, female, 42 years old. Lida, male, 52 years old. Zhou Jianfei, male, 50 years old. Ma Chengcheng, male, 47 years old. The guards skillfully entered the names, and the corresponding identities quickly popped up in the system. Found them. These 4 people are in the first company on Fengling Street. I think it's called Xianting Biotech Research Institute. However, this research institute seems to have a strong background. The last fire inspection, the fire brigade didn't even let them in. Chapter 448. Stop right there. Just as Wang Lan was about to approach Xianting Biotechnology, a loud shout rang out. Who are you? This is a military research facility. No outsiders are allowed to enter. Wang Lan stopped in her tracks and looked at the company's front. Sure enough, behind it were the words Military Research Institution. Compared to the words Xianting Biotechnology, these words were pitifully small and could not be distinguished at a glance. The security guard walked over with his baton. Young man, who are you? What are you doing here? Wang Lan did not waste any time and took out his ID. I'm a special agent from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. I hope you will cooperate with the investigation. Oh, so you are from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. When the security guard heard the name Heavenly Sword Bureau, he did not look nervous. Instead, he looked like he was mocking him. Oh, Heavenly Sword Bureau? Very impressive. Well, that's about it. You are not allowed to enter the Heavenly Sword Bureau either. The security guard's face suddenly turned cold. This is a research facility under the General Staff Department. The Heavenly Sword Bureau needs to get permission from the General Staff Department or the Ministry of National Defense. Is there a place under the Heavenly Sword Bureau's jurisdiction that the Heavenly Sword Bureau is not allowed to enter? Yes, it is under the General Staff Department's jurisdiction. As the security guard said this, the astral power around him surged. A wave of Galaxy Realm astral power rippled out. A security guard of a company was actually a Galaxy Realm Takashi Hoshi. Combined with the tone of his voice, it was obvious that he was from the General Staff Department. But in an instant, the security guard felt his vision blur. Then, his body flew backward as if he had been hit by a train. He slammed into the wall of the security room and was stuck to the wall so hard that he couldn't get off. Who allowed you to show off in front of me? Wang Lan looked coldly at the security guard who had been slapped until he was autistic. If the security guard was not from the General Staff Department, Wang Lan would not have been so angry. He was already pissed off at the General Staff Department, yet he still wanted to show off. With Wang Lan's temper, he naturally could not hold it in. Using Galaxy Realm experts as guard showed that the General Staff Department was very attentive to this research institute. Even though Sioux City had undergone a major upgrade, at the moment, the Galaxy Realm was still considered a high-end combat power. Lu Zhao was the only Star Sea Realm expert in the entire world. Compared to Shanghai, the difference was not just a little bit. However, Sioux City was only an ordinary prefecture-level city in the past. Although its level had been raised, it still had not been replenished with experts. On the other hand, Zhang Yeqiu, Li Gu, and the other young experts still needed some time to mature. Using galaxy-grade cultivators as protection was a sign of great importance. However, in front of Wang Lan, even a tidal powerhouse would have to kneel, let alone a galaxy-grade. Woo woo woo. A series of alarms sounded, and in Wang Lan's senses, 6 auras suddenly rose from every corner of the research institute. One of them was even a Star Sea Realm expert. Wang Lan. With a loud roar, 6 masters slowly appeared like ghosts and appeared 10 meters in front of Wang Lan. This is the Research Institute under the General Staff Department. You dare to mess around? Oh, so, it's the General Staff Department? He answered with the same tone as the security guard who had been slapped unconscious by Wang Lan. not to mention the General Staff Department, even if it's a research institute directly under the Ministry of National Defense. As long as there are suspicions of endangering local security, I can enter and investigate as I wish, Wang Lan said as he took a step forward. In the face of such an obvious provocation, the other party had to nervously take a step back. Did they need to say more about Wang Lan's strength? What did he do in Shanghai not long ago? The demon's expert that even Emperor Qing couldn't defeat also died at the hands of Wang Lan. Even if there were 100 more of them, Wang Lan could come and go as he pleased. Wang Lan, the research institute, involved a lot of state secrets. Do you want to harm the interests of the country? You can't stop it, so you go online. I want to see Zhang Jingjing, writer Zhou Jianfei, and Ma Chengxing now. Wang Lan calmly said the names of the 4 people. The face of the leader of the Star Sea Realm experts changed and suddenly became cold. Go! Before Wang Lan and the 3 Heavenly Sword Bureau soldiers could react, 5 figures suddenly spread out and stood in a pentagram. The leader of the Star Sea Realm experts instantly appeared beside Wang Lan and attacked Wang Lan. Wang Lan stood quietly in the distance, as if he didn't have time to react. Why would the other party suddenly attack? There was still a trace of astonishment in the depths of his eyes. The Star Sea Realm expert smiled triumphantly. Sure enough, the rumors about Wang Lan outside were exaggerated. Although he was only at the Galaxy Realm, his true strength was comparable to the 5 emperors. Humph! A Galaxy Realm expert is a Galaxy Realm expert. I believe that he is invincible among the Galaxy Realm experts, but a Galaxy Realm expert comparable to the 5 emperors? Are you dreaming? While speculating about Wang Lan's strength, the Star Sea Realm expert also felt a little ashamed of his fear just now. Why did I believe the rumors in the underworld? They were so exaggerated, but I still believe them. Suddenly, a butterfly bloomed in front of the Star Sea Realm expert. The held butterflies flapped their wings. The scene was so beautiful that it was intoxicating. A held butterfly suddenly appeared beside each of the 5 Galaxy Realm experts. Then, Wang Lan's figure appeared at the same time. Boom! 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 In an instant, Wang Lan seemed to have split into 5 clones, and a palm pressed on the shoulders of the 5 people at the same time. Then, the 5 people standing in a pentagram were fiercely pressed to the ground by Wang Lan's palm, and a cloud of dust flew up. After doing all this, the Star Sea Realm expert's fist brushed past Wang Lan's held butterfly phantom before swinging down. So fast, the Star Sea Realm expert was aghast. This was no longer a matter of speed. The Star Sea Realm expert was an expert in speed. The wind and thunder attributes were both good at speed. Therefore, he used all his strength in this sneak attack. After hitting Wang Lan, he used the thunder chain to trap Wang Lan for a moment. Even if Wang Lan was really as powerful as the rumors said and broke free of the thunder chain, the brothers' 5-element seal would have been completed. Even if they were unwilling to acknowledge Wang Lan's strength, they had to pay attention to tactics. A lion would use all its strength to catch a rabbit, not to mention Wang Lan, who was rumored to be a godlike existence. However, the Star Sea Realm expert didn't understand that even if he paid attention to Wang Lan, tactics were useless in the face of the gap in strength. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. By the time Wang Lan's 3 warriors reacted, the dust had already settled. The Star Sea Realm expert's figure was frozen, and the electric arcs were still flashing around his body. His 5 subordinates had all had their star power sealed by Wang Lan, and they couldn't move on the ground. A butterfly fluttered and suddenly appeared beside him. Wang Lan's palm easily broke through his thunder defense and slowly hit his shoulder. In 1 second, a Star Sea Realm expert and 5 Galaxy Realm experts were all defeated. Wang Lan, you don't have to say anything. Childish. Wang Lan said faintly and walked towards the research institute again. At that moment, a group of people in white coats appeared at the entrance of the research institute. They were led by the 4 people Wang Lan was looking for. Who are you? Zhou Jianfei shouted sternly. Colonel Special Service Wang Lan of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. We need your cooperation on a case, Dr. Zhou. This is a confidential research institute. We won't answer any questions, Ryder said coldly. Although they were just ordinary people, they had been in a high position for a long time, so they had an imposing aura. You know Chen Yaoding, right? Ryder hesitated for a moment before nodding. We know him. Chen Yaoding was our colleague 2 years ago. Later, we heard that he joined a private research institute. We haven't been in contact for 2 years. But according to my investigation, that's not the case. Dr. Ryder, I hope you won't hide anything. It won't be good if you force me to use my mental imprint. 2 years ago, Chen Yaoding brought the X-gene cells to Dr. Wang Qi. Don't tell me you don't know. What X-gene? I don't know what you're talking about. Zhou Jianfei said hurriedly. So there's no room for discussion? Wang Lan said faintly. Then he said to the 3 people behind him, take the 4 of them back. Who dares? The restrained Star Sea Realm expert shouted. Wang Lan, your actions are treason. Wang Lan didn't bother to talk nonsense. If he could fight, he would try not to make a fuss. Now that he was done, he naturally wouldn't make a fuss. The 3 members of the Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately stepped forward and restrained Zhou Jianfei and the other 3. Beep, beep. At this moment, a horn sounded. 2 cars drove over from afar. Everyone turned to see the 2 cars drive over and stop at the entrance of the mysterious Thunder Research Institute. The side door opened. Lu Zhao and Li Weixin got out of the car. Lu Zhao looked at the 4 professors restrained by the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Let them go, Director Lu. Wang Lan frowned and asked softly. Wang Lan, come here. Wang Lan walked over and followed Lu Zhao to a remote place. Director Lu, what's wrong? I just received orders from above. This case will be investigated by a special agent sent by above. Before the special agent arrives, the Heavenly Sword Bureau is not allowed to take any action related to this case. Hearing this, Wang Lan raised his eyebrows. Isn't this clearly covering up for them? But we're a subordinate department. This is an order from the Department of National Defense. We have to follow it. It's not a bad thing that things have developed to this point. At least it proves that a big tiger is involved. The nature of this matter has changed. Call Di Lao and General Zhu Ming. It's best to call Director Cheng Jianlong from Shanghai. Since the big tiger is involved, it's time for us to fight back. Wang Lan nodded. Okay. Before he could dial the number, his phone suddenly rang. He saw that it was a call from Yu Ruoyan. Hello, Wang Lan. You haven't called Great-Grandpa yet, right? Yu Ruoyan's voice was very urgent. She rushed up and asked. Not yet. Just a second away. Ruoyan, what's wrong? This might be a misunderstanding. There might be someone behind this. I'll be in Sioux City tomorrow. Please trust me. Wait for me to come over. Before I come over, we can't let this matter spread. Trust me. This. Wang Lan hesitated. From the bottom of his heart, Wang Lan definitely trusted Yu Ruoyan. The 2 of them had fought side by side and gone through so much together. Yu Ruoyan could be said to be the first person to form a friendship with Wang Lan. She was someone he could trust with his back. However, Yu Ruoyan was a member of the Yu family. Now that she had joined the General Staff Department, Wang Lan could not help but assume the worst. Wang Lan, you have to trust me. I definitely won't do anything to hurt you. I will definitely give you an explanation for what happened to Miss Wang Qi. But please wait for me to come over. Okay, I believe you. Ruoyan, I hope you don't betray the trust between us. If you encounter the same thing, I will do my best to help you. I trust you. Thank you. Chapter 449. After hanging up the phone, Wang Lan said to Lu Zhao, Director Lu, although we don't have to do anything, this research institute must be controlled. Of course. Before the special commissioner comes, we will freeze all related personnel. What do you need me to do? The special commissioner will arrive tomorrow morning. You should go back and rest first. It's already good that you've made so much progress in 2 days. Okay, I'll go back first. Wang Lan didn't say anything else. Lu Zhao had his own difficulties. Wang Lan didn't want to make things difficult for Lu Zhao because of his insistence. Wang Lan flew into the sky and returned to the hospital. In the National Defense Hospital, Jiang Xinyu's cheeks were red as she lowered her head like an ostrich. Tang Xiaomao, who was beside him, looked at the lights that gradually lit up outside the window and smiled. Sinew, what's there to be shy about? You and Lon Lon aren't kids anymore. What's wrong with dating at this age? I dated when I was your age, too. Annie Wong, can you not ask such a private question? How? Is this private? I only asked you one thing. Do you live in the school dormitory or outside? Is it very private? Andy Wong, Sinew already confessed. If she lived in the dormitory, would she be so embarrassed? In the past, when we went to Shanghai together, Sinew brought us to Phoenix Square a few times. His actions of opening the door to Wang Lan's house were so practiced that it was as if it was his own house. Jiang Sinew suddenly looked at Su Xiangwen and shut him up. Then have you guys considered when to get married? After you graduate or... Annie Wong, isn't it too soon? Su Xiangwen asked in surprise. Takashi Hoshi usually got married late. The legal age for marriage was 22 years old. Takashi Hoshi rarely got married before 30. We die if you don't talk. It's not that early. Most people date for 3 to 4 years before getting married. However, Sinew and Wang Lan are different. They grew up together and know each other very well. The characters that needed to be broken and had already been broken in long ago, so there was no need for this trouble. Moreover, you and Lan Lan have both grown. With your current strength, you won't be in any danger unless an army of demons attacks. And if the army of demons attacked, who could guarantee that they would be able to escape unscathed? The earlier you get married and have children, the more time you have to cultivate your children before the war starts. That way, you won't have to worry about the future. If Jia wasn't so young, I would want her to get married and have children sooner. If Jia hears this, she'll definitely kick up a fuss for a week. Wang Lan's voice suddenly rang out. A hell butterfly suddenly appeared, and Wang Lan's figure also appeared from the void. Wang Lan, you're back. What do you think? The higher-ups have put pressure on the case. The case is temporarily frozen. Tomorrow, Ruyun should be coming to assist us in the investigation. The Heavenly Sword Bureau can't be involved in the investigation for the time being. The higher-ups... Wang Qi's eyes flashed. She instantly thought of a few possibilities. Is it a factional struggle? It seems that I've been used as a sacrifice. Little ant, don't think too much. How are you a sacrifice? You're a priceless treasure, okay? No one can treat you as a sacrifice, and no one has the right to do so. It seems that my research findings have made some people uneasy. The human race has been at peace for less than 100 years, and the invasion of demons is just around the corner. Some people are still dreaming. How can such people be expected to risk their lives for the human race? When the time comes, they'll be thanking the heavens if they don't become traitors. Wang Lan, what do we do now? Do we just wait? Although Tianruyun is coming, I feel that the higher-ups are putting pressure on the Heavenly Sword Bureau to not let the investigation go. Are you going to try and turn this into a small matter? Jiang Sinew hurriedly asked. Isn't it obvious? Wang Qi sneered. I'm about to die, and this matter definitely isn't over. But I'm still alive. If only Big Sister was here. If Big Sister was here, those people wouldn't have an easy time tonight. If Yan Emperor was here, they wouldn't dare to make a move on Madame Wang, right? Zheng Xiaoma didn't know where Yan Emperor was, but it was obvious that he couldn't leave. From the moment Wang Qi was assassinated until now, Yan Emperor hadn't appeared. Even Xing Xiaoma had noticed this problem, so how could the others not? Actually, from the last time Wang Lan and the Duanmu family clashed, it could be seen that many people were suspicious. Wang Lan was being bullied by the Duanmu family, but Yan Emperor didn't appear? Was this the legendary Yan Emperor style? Later, when Wang Lan and Yu Riyun were sent to the 7th floor of the 9-story pagoda, Yan Emperor didn't appear. This made many people speculate in their hearts. Yan Emperor's disappearance in the past few years was probably not as simple as what was announced by the officials. This time, they dared to make a move on Wang Qi because they wanted to test her. Although the consequences of Yan Emperor's appearance weren't something they could bear, if they found out that Yan Emperor really wasn't here or couldn't appear, even the consequences were acceptable. Although the Heavenly Sword Bureau can't do anything, they didn't say that we can't investigate in private. Wang Lan smiled and said. Then, he picked up the notebook that he left in the ward during the day. All right, Annie, how's your recovery today? My chest is starting to scab. As long as I don't do any strenuous exercise, I won't feel any pain. That's good. Did the doctor say when you could be discharged? The doctor said that according to the current recovery, I could be discharged in about 3 days. Don't you feel like you're about to awaken? You can feel it before you awaken. Wang Qi looked at Wang Lan with a puzzled expression. As everyone knew, Takashi Hoshi awakened. Whether it was a spontaneous awakening or a soul resonance awakening, they wouldn't feel it before it happened. Basically, it was a sudden awakening. Wang Lan pursed his lips. He really wanted to say that he had spent 7 or 8 years on this awakening. It was too difficult. Did you find out anything? Zhang Xiaoma came to Wang Lan and asked, if you didn't find anything, why would the higher-ups suddenly put pressure on you? Since the special agent will only arrive tomorrow, why would they be so impatient to stop overnight? I pretty much figured it out. Wang Lan smiled. This matter started 2 years ago. I speculated that 2 years ago, the Kyoto Life Research Institute made a breakthrough and extracted X gene cells. After the tireless efforts of 5 scientists, they even developed the enzyme telomerase to synthesize telomeres. 2 years ago happened to be when Annie shocked the world with her life medicine, using genetic coding technology to change genes and cultivate new cells. Wasn't this the technology that the Life Research Institute dreamed of? Behind the Life Research Institute, I guess that the Takashi Hoshi family led by the Yu family was behind it. After combining these 2 technological discoveries, they came up with a big plan. Therefore, the Kyoto Life Research Institute was disbanded in name, but in reality, they all came to Sioux City and opened a new Xianting Life Research Institute in Wudong District. Chen Yaoting brought the X gene cells to Annie. In these 2 years, they continued to research while sending Chen Yaoting to learn how to make the gene medicine. Not long ago, when Annie completed the last step, they made their move. Whoever can control the awakening medicine can become the ruler of all humans. A medicine that can awaken normal people can naturally make normal people go crazy. If given the chance, who wouldn't want to become a Superman? Also, the alternate dimension is such a vast world. How big is this territory? Because of the limited number of Takashi Hoshi, it can only be abandoned. Therefore, the mastermind got rid of Madame Wang Qi, who didn't belong to their side. That way, they can control the awakening medicine. Then, with the awakening medicine, they can get whatever they want. It would be easy for them to even restore the dynasty. Zhang Xiaoma said with a gloomy expression. That's right. We've already investigated to this point. How can they not be anxious? From a rational point of view, it's right for the higher-ups to freeze our investigation. Wang Lan said calmly. If I were the leader, I would do the same. Because once this matter is exposed, the hole will be too big and no one will be able to cover it. When that time comes, the Takashi Hoshi family will have no choice but to do something desperate. The country isn't ready to go to war with the Takashi Hoshi family. Therefore, the best way to deal with this is to suppress this matter and turn it into a small matter. But I'm not the leader. My ass determines my brain. The direction I consider is related to the interests of my own people. Whoever touches Annie, I'll teach them a lesson. If anyone wants to kill Annie, I'll send them all to hell. So, Zhang Xiaoma asked, let's see what kind of explanation they can give. If I'm not satisfied with their explanation, I don't mind stabbing the sky. Beep, beep, beep. On the laptop, the progress was 100% complete. Zhang Xiaoma was shocked. When he was talking to Wang Lan, he did not notice what Wang Lan was doing behind his back. By the time he realized it, Wang Lan was already done. Director Liu must have given you a secret mission, right? To spy on me secretly, so that I won't do anything stupid? Wang Lan asked Zhang Xiaoma while smiling. You're more cunning than a wolf. Zhang Xiaoma sighed in defeat. Forget it. Since you've seen through everything, I don't have to embarrass myself. Just tell me what you're doing. Hacking into Xianting Biotechnology's internal network. I just came back from there and threw a bionic spider. Wang Lan opened the classified folder. Then I want to see what research they're doing and if there's anything else other than X cells. Give it to me. Give it to me. Let's see it together. Wang Qi's burning passion for scientific research was instantly ignited. Even if Wang Lan was a genius, he could only read the research report for 3 minutes before his brain crashed. The cutting-edge technology developed by several top scientists in the world was enriched with a large amount of technical terms and theoretical basis that did not exist in books. It would be strange if Wang Lan could understand it. But Wang Qi, who was lying on the hospital bed, was reading it with great interest. Sure enough, Wang Qi typed and flipped through the document. He sighed and said, since they discovered X cells and came up with the idea of cultivating telomerase to synthesize telomeres, why didn't they try to synthesize normal cells? Try to synthesize normal cells? What's the use? Zhang Xiaoma asked curiously. Do you know that human cells can die? This? Of course I know. When a person is injured and recovers, it's a loss of cells, followed by cell division, cell filling, and finally repairing the damage. The number of human cell divisions is fixed, and the number of cell divisions depends on the cell's telomeres. Every time a cell divides, the telomeres will shorten until the telomeres disappear and the cell can no longer divide. When a cell dies, it's dead and no new cells will appear. When a cell stops dividing, the most obvious sign is aging. Chapter 450. When Ani finished speaking, the 4 people in the ward were stunned. Su Xiangwen, in particular, had a look of disbelief on his face. What do you mean? Zhang Xiaoma seemed to have realized something, but she still asked. The regeneration ability of cells directly affects a person's lifespan. There are many factors that affect a person's lifespan, such as accidents, diseases, and aging. However, accidents can be controlled, and most diseases can be controlled as well. Moreover, most people who die of diseases are middle-aged and old. When a person is in the prime of their life, due to the vitality of their cells, their immune system can prevent most diseases from occurring. Therefore, the root cause is the life of the cells. If the telomerase that synthesizes telomeres can be programmed into the human genes, the human cells will have the ability to synthesize telomeres indefinitely. The telomeres will no longer shorten, the cells can divide indefinitely, and the person will never age. They're trying to research immortality. Immortality? How is that possible? Zhang Xiaoma suddenly exclaimed. The human lifespan is a product of the law of nature. When there is birth, there is death. Since ancient times, no one has been able to break this law. Unless, become a god. Wang Lan's lips curled up into a sarcastic smile. Logically speaking, immortality is hard to accept. However, from a scientific point of view, it is completely possible. Do you know about HeLa cells? HeLa cells are cancer cells that can reproduce indefinitely. Not all cancer cells have the ability to reproduce indefinitely, but HeLa cells are immortal cells. Therefore, as long as the mechanism of telomerase synthesizing telomeres is solved, and then it can be edited into the human genes to make the synthesis of telomerase part of the human body, the person will be able to escape from aging and death. Ani's words completely destroyed Zhang Xiaoma's worldview. Actually, there are many creatures in nature that can live forever. Auntie continued, in theory, they live forever. Lighthouse jellyfish? He doesn't count. Lighthouse jellyfish just return to the embryonic state and grow again. This is considered a group of asexual reproduction. Let me give you a more common example. Lobsters. In theory, lobsters are creatures that don't age. Lobsters that are 5 or 10 years old have telomeres that don't shorten. Their telomeres have the ability to regenerate. But why haven't we seen lobsters that are thousands of years old? Even lobsters that can live for 10 or 20 years are rare. That's why I said that this is a creature that is theoretically immortal. In the natural world, life was passed down. Endless growth was the law of nature. Death was an ability that evolved, but aging was not the only form of death. In fact, aging creatures were only one of the many evolutionary branches. It was a pity that the creatures that didn't go extinct in the end. Only the aging branch was passed down and continued to evolve into all the aging creatures that we could see. In theory, lobsters don't age, but they do die. They die by shelling. Every time it molts, it is a tribulation. Let me calculate the numbers for you. The death rate of the first molting is 10%. Of the remaining 90%, 30% would die during the second molting. The more times it experienced molting, the harder it would be to molt the next time. Therefore, if you meet a lobster that has lived for more than 10 years, please cherish it. In order to live to see you, it sacrificed billions of its own kind. It was rare for his aunt to be in such a good mood and make such a joke. Of course, I will use the best seasonings and the most delicate cooking methods. Su Xiangwen also became mischievous. Wang Lan, to be honest, after seeing such brilliant results, I only have admiration in my heart. Even if they might be the mastermind behind the assassination of me, I can't bring myself to hate them. Compared to their results, I am far behind, his aunt said with some emotion. Annie Wang, your life potion is also a milestone that shocked the world and changed history. You may admire them silently here, but maybe they also secretly call you a god behind your back, Jiang Xinyu said with a smile. Beep, beep, beep. Soon, Xiao AI's small icon began to flicker in the background of the laptop. Wang Lan hurriedly opened it and instantly made a list. What is this? There's so many zeros. This is the list of Xianting Biotechnology's capital inflows. The money spent to support this kind of research is not much less than the money spent by the military factory to develop a brand new fighter. Sure enough, all the evidence matched up. Since 2 years ago, Xianting Biotechnology had received a total of 10 billion yuan, all of which have been transferred by Thunderbolt Electronics. That Yu Ruohuai's motive for pursuing our Annie is not simple. Annie, look at this man's face. He says he likes you in front of you, but secretly he sent people to assassinate you. Xiao AI, track Yu Ruohuai's whereabouts through the surveillance cameras along the way. Wang Lan, didn't I say you were not allowed to continue the investigation? The Heavenly Sword Bureau is the only one that forbids it. They didn't say I couldn't use my personal identity to investigate. My Annie was stabbed, so what's wrong with me investigating the mastermind? It's reasonable, isn't it? Elsewhere, in a luxurious villa's swimming pool, Yu Ruohuai was roaring angrily into the phone. Trash, all of you are trash. I really don't know why our Yu family keeps you. You don't even know who ordered it? Also, tell Duan Lingmu's family to accompany him. Young Master Huai? That's not good, right? It's not his family's fault. Bullshit, it's not his family's fault. Since he dared to touch my woman, he should be prepared to die with his family. Also, who hired Duan Lingmu in the first place? Cripple that guy and make him eat for the rest of his life. F***CK. After hanging up the phone, Yu Ruohuai was still angry. He punched the water and waved at the woman who was resting on a water chair not far away. Baby, come here. I'm very angry right now. Didn't you say Wang Qi is your woman? What do you want me to do? If you're angry, go find Wang Qi to calm you down. F***CKU. She's my future wife. How can I use her like that? You're the one who's going to calm me down. Get your ass over here. Yu Ruohuai roared like an angry lion. Oh, at this moment, Yu Ruohuai's phone rang again. When he saw the number, his expression changed. Hey, master. I really didn't, I swear. I may like to play and mess around, but I'm not stupid. Okay? Let's not talk about the fact that I'm really in love with Wang Qi. Even if I didn't, I know the consequences of touching Wang Qi. Yin Di is a madman. Do I want to die or what? Someone definitely wants to harm me. That bastard Duan Lingmu must be a traitor lurking around me. Master, you know me. If my family doesn't allow me to do something, I won't even touch a fingernail. What? What? Is it that fast? Isn't it suppressed by the higher-ups? Okay, I know. Soon, Yu Ruohuai put down his phone and kicked the beauty in front of him. Don't do anything. Get up and help me pack up. What's wrong? Don't do anything. If you don't leave, Wang Lan will find you. Yu Ruohuai hurriedly walked out of the pool and picked up a bath towel to dry himself. However, he didn't notice that the beautiful woman behind him who was scolded by him gradually had a coquettish expression. Then, it gradually became ferocious. Locked on, Wang Lan said excitedly after seeing Xiao AI finally lock onto Yu Ruohuai's whereabouts from millions of photos and tens of thousands of cameras. Enchanting Bay? Wang Lan was surprised. I didn't know that Yu Ruohuai lived in the same villa area as me. I've never seen him before. Wang Qi said with a puzzled expression. Xinyu, Let's go meet this crown prince of Zhenjiang Wang. Wang Lan. Just as Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, and Su Xiangwen were about to leave, Zheng Xiaomao suddenly called out. Although I won't stop you, I will report to Chief Lu. This is my duty. Please understand. I understand. The group left the hospital and rushed into the sky in an instant. Then, they rushed to Shanting Bay. As soon as they entered Shanting Bay, CSCC was already waiting at the entrance of Shanting Bay. Xiangwen, I'm counting on you. Among the 4 people present, no one could compare to Su Xiangwen in terms of detection ability. After reaching the galaxy grade, Su Xiangwen's heavenly eye had become even more abnormal. It could see up to more than 2 kilometers away. It could see through things, zoom in, lock on, and automatically scan. It could also clearly see the shape of astral power and heat spectrum. No one could hide from this pair of eyes. Even if you were a master of disguise, Su Xiangwen's eyes wouldn't see through your disguise at all. As long as you were a Takashi Hoshi, he could directly see the astral power in your body. Even if you were an ordinary person, Su Xiangwen could directly see the heat spectrum that you emitted. Even if you wore a layer of insulation, as long as your body emitted heat, it couldn't be hidden. No problem. Heavenly eye opened. A vertical eye on his forehead opened and instantly emitted a rainbow-colored light. Under the vision of the heavenly eye, the villas in front of him instantly disappeared like trees on both sides of a car. Then, he locked onto a villa. The villa was pitch black and seemed to be uninhabited. However, there was a fire burning slowly in the bedroom of the villa. There's no one in the villa, but there's a fire burning in the bedroom. Maybe it's to destroy some evidence? He's not here. He must have just left. There are surveillance cameras everywhere in Shanting Bay. I've already asked Xiao AI to monitor it. There's no reason why Xiao AI didn't give me a hint. Could it be that we were a step too slow? He ran away the moment I locked onto him. Then are we still going? Let's go. As Wang Lan spoke, his body flashed and rushed toward the target. Previously, he thought that Yuruo Huai was still in the villa. Since Yuruo Huai was a direct descendant of the Yu family, Wang Lan couldn't go too far with him. Therefore, the original plan was to sneak into the target's villa and secretly collect evidence first. They would make things difficult for him after they found the evidence. Now that Yuruo Huai had run away in advance, Wang Lan didn't have so many concerns. He easily entered the villa using underground travel. However, the moment he saw the bodies lying on the ground in the villa, Wang Lan's expression changed drastically. I'm afraid he didn't run away. Someone made a move before us. Oh no! As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan's body instantly turned into a butterfly and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in the bedroom. In the bedroom, a human-shaped pile of ashes was still flashing with sparks that looked like stars. F***CK. This should be Yuruo Huai. I was planning to leave and even pack my luggage. Unfortunately, I was still a step too late, Su Xiangwen said with a sigh as he looked at the 2 pieces of luggage, one big and one small, beside the bed and the several packages at the door. Chapter 451. Was Yuruo Huai killed by the mastermind to silence him, or for other reasons? Jiang Xinyu asked hesitantly. I seem to have overlooked a problem. Wang Lan looked at the ashes that had been extinguished and suddenly said seriously, I've always divided the enemy into 2 groups. One is our people, and the other is someone trying to cover up the truth so that we can't investigate. But could there be a third party? A third party? CC asked hesitantly. That's right. A person who already understood everything, but kept stirring up trouble between me and the enemy, trying to expand the conflict to the point where neither of us can stop. Is there? Jiang Xinyu was confused. Why don't I feel that way? I didn't feel that way at first, but Chun Yaoting's death made me realize something that didn't make sense. The 4 people from Xianting Biotechnology must be in cahoots with Chun Yaoting. They were researching the regeneration of telomeres to achieve immortality. However, even if they managed to develop telomerase, they would still have to rely on their aunt's gene editing technology to make the perfect synthesis of telomeres. That's why Qin Yaoding was sent to obtain this technology. From Little Ant's mouth, Qin Yaoding did learn this technology, but he might not have mastered it. Little Ant took 12 years to master this technology, so Qin Yaoding might not be a genius. But Qin Yaoding was also killed on the day Little Ant was assassinated. If I was the mastermind behind Qin Yaoding, I definitely wouldn't act so quickly. At the very least, I would have to wait for more people to master Qin Yaoding's technology. I can reluctantly say that we already suspected Qin Yaoding, and the mastermind had no choice but to silence him. But now, Yu Ruohuai was also killed when we were about to find him. Yu Ruohuai wasn't a small figure. He was the heir of the Zhenjiang Palace, and his status in the Yu family was second only to Yu Riyun. From the fact that he was secretly in charge of Xianting Biotechnology's research, it could be seen how important his status in the Yu family was. Was there a need to kill such an important person just to prevent us from investigating further? Even if there were two sides to it, Little Ant wasn't dead, and the Yu family still had room to turn things around. Even if one of them had to die for his aunt, Yu Ruo's life would be more than enough. I have even thought about it. When we find out that the assassin is the Yu family can use Yu Ruohuai's life to end this matter. His life could be a trump card, but now is far from the time to throw it out. Looking at the intersection of these 2 points, there might be a third person stirring up the waters in the dark. Wait, isn't Yu Ruohuai an ordinary person? How did he become an important figure in the Yu family? Even if Yu Riyun did not awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent, she is still the second princess. This was the definition of one's identity. Moreover, only ordinary people would differentiate between ordinary people and Takashi Hoshi. In the long-established Takashi Hoshi family, as long as they are of the direct bloodline, Takashi Hoshi and Takashi Hoshi have no obvious preference, Jiang Xinyu explained. Wang Lan, the situation may not be good, Su Xiangwen suddenly said. What's wrong? 800 meters away, more than a dozen people are approaching quickly. If we don't leave now, we will meet them in the human world. Let's go. Wang Lan took the 3 people and disappeared with a whoosh. Under Su Xiangwen's celestial eye, Wang Lan and the other 3 people deftly avoided the other party's perception. They almost brushed shoulders with each other. A minute after Wang Lan disappeared, several figures appeared in Yu Ruohuai's villa. Looking at the corpses on the ground, the face of the man in black became unusually cold and ugly. No wonder we couldn't wait for the prince to board the plane. Something really happened. As soon as he finished speaking, the figure flashed and rushed to the bedroom on the 2nd floor. There were ashes in the bedroom, and the pungent smell of smoke was already emitting. Looking at the human-shaped ashes and the suitcase in the room, the man in black looked at them. You sense it. A ripple that was invisible to the naked eye immediately rippled around the body of the woman called you. About a minute later, the ripple stopped. There was a battle half an hour ago. The murderer was very strong. None of the prince's guards could block even one of his moves. The most recent fluctuation of astral power was a minute ago. The murderer just escaped. I remember that Dr. Wang Chi's house is in this community, right? That's what the information says. The problem is that our Yu family is very passive this time. No one expected that someone would assassinate Dr. Wang Chi. And Wang Chi's nephew, Wang Lan, is as cunning as a wolf. If you're targeted by him, you will lose a layer of skin even if you don't die. Leader, could it be Wang Lan? It's possible. He was asked to stop the investigation today. But is he that honest? Maybe he is secretly investigating behind our backs. Let's go to Ms. Wang Chi's house first. With that, the man in black took the lead and disappeared. Then, more than a dozen team members disappeared instantly. No. Before Wang Lan and the others could say anything when they returned home, the monitoring and alarm system set up by Xiao AI suddenly rang. It seemed that the other party didn't use any cover at all and had just come here openly. Ding dong, ding dong. Wang Lan and the others looked at each other. Then, Wang Lan stood up and walked to the door. Since the other party had rung the doorbell, they weren't prepared for a sneak attack. So, Wang Lan opened the door generously. The dozen men in black in front of him were all wearing sunglasses and ties. Their aura made Wang Lan feel that there might be aliens in his house. "Who are you?" "Colonel Wang Lan. We are from the General Staff Department." As they spoke, they took out their credentials. "The General Staff Department of the Ministry of National Security. Senior Colonel Wang Lan, we have a secret case that requires your assistance. Please come with us." "Huh?" "I'm usually the one who says that to others. Listen to what I have to say to you today, please. What if I refuse? Then I advise you not to do anything stupid. You should have received the corresponding training when you joined the Heavenly Sword Bureau. If the General Staff Department and the International Security Committee ask you to help with the investigation, you should do it. But I doubt the nature of the General Staff Department. Is he still a member of the Jade State? If you insist." The leader of the men in black suddenly changed his expression. Instantly, the aura around him became cold and frosty. Astral power surged around him. The 10 people behind him all rose to the level of Takashi Hoshi. 3 were at the peak of the Star Sea state, 5 were at the middle stage, and 6 were at the early stage. This lineup was more than enough to kidnap a general, let alone a colonel from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Before Wang Lan could react, several figures beside her suddenly flashed and disappeared. Jiang Xinyu and the other 2 immediately stood side by side. Astral power surged around them. Their aura was not inferior at all. 3 Galaxy State cultivators? Where did the courage come from? One of the men in black sneered disdainfully. Boom! Suddenly, there was a muffled sound. Wang Lan didn't move at all. His body shook slightly, and then the dozen or so Star Sea State General Staff Department soldiers flew backward instantly. Only the 3 at the peak of the Star Sea State managed to keep up with Wang Lan's attack. Their bodies shook, but they didn't fly backward like the others. A few Star Sea State cultivators. Where did the courage come from? Wang Lan returned the mockery back to them. Wang Lan, do you know what you're doing? The 3 men stood in a triangular formation and stared at Wang Lan with sharp eyes. Of course I know what I'm doing. Is the General Staff Department so arrogant that you've forgotten the most basic training? No matter how confidential the General Staff Department is, without the order of the National Defense Department, they have no right to arrest an official. Besides, I'm a colonel. Not only do you have no right to arrest me, but you're also trespassing on private property. I can defend myself and fight back. You're asking me if I know what I'm doing? I want to ask you, do you know what you're doing? Operations involving state secrets. The General Staff Department has the right to act on their own discretion. The man wasn't scared by Wang Lan's words at all. That depends on your rank. You're a colonel. Do you have the right to act on your own discretion? You don't even have a star on your shoulder. Do you think you're worthy? After being questioned by Wang Lan, the man was a bit angry. But looking at the rank on Wang Lan's shoulder, he thought about it and realized that he really wasn't strong enough. Just then, a light shone from afar, and the tense atmosphere instantly relaxed. The car slowly stopped in front of the mansion. The door opened, and Yu Ryun in a silver-white military uniform got out of the car. Wang Lan, I finally found you. I went straight to the hospital as soon as I got off the plane. I just found out that you weren't in the hospital. Annie Wang doesn't know where you are. What's going on? Suddenly, Yu Ryun saw the 12 people in front of Wang Lan and asked with a gloomy face. Second Princess, the Crown Prince of Zhenjiang has been killed. I suspect that it's Wang Lan's doing, so you guys can leave first. I'll take responsibility for this. Second Princess, didn't you hear what I said? Yu Ryun said faintly. Yes. The leader finally compromised. He waved his hand and disappeared into the night with the 9 people behind him. Ryun, I didn't think that we would meet again under such circumstances. Wang Lan's emotional voice sounded. Before this, Wang Lan had never thought that there would be a day when she and Yu Ryun would be on opposing sides. They had fought side by side and gone through life and death together many times, but at this moment, it seemed so unfamiliar. The truth is completely different from what you think. If you believed me before, then I hope you believe me now. Can we talk inside? Your tone makes me uneasy. Yu Ryun's eyes were a bit wronged. Wang Lan was undoubtedly one of the most important people to Yu Ryun. It didn't feel good to be treated coldly by an important person. All right. Wang Lan invited Yu Ryun into the house. Yu Ruiyan greeted the people outside and followed Wang Lan into Wang Qi's villa. "Have a seat. They're my good friends and brothers, Su Xiangwen and CSCC. Jin City Cebu Gakuin's famous student, Su Xiangwen, known as the God's Eye, and CSCC, the Goddess of Death. I've heard a lot about you." "Damn, since when did the two of you have such awesome nicknames?" "I don't have any. Jin City Cebu Gakuin's tradition of giving people nicknames. If you were in Jin City Cebu Gakuin, your nickname would definitely be the most awesome one. You might even be the incarnation of God, the man closest to God, etc." Su Xiangwen laughed proudly. "Princess Yu, I've heard a lot about you." CSCC calmly looked at Yu Ruiyun and stretched out her hand. She couldn't hide her pride. "Her figure is similar to mine, but she's not as beautiful as me. Her threat level is less than 50. Chapter 452. There's someone behind this, but it's definitely not our Yu family, Yu Ruiyun said hurriedly as she sat on the sofa. Wang Lan sat across from Yu Ruiyun and looked at her with a smile. "Wang Lan, I'm not lying. Trust me. I don't doubt you, do I? I'm waiting for you to tell me. I've been investigating Duan Lingmu since I received your call. Duan Lingmu is one of the top snipers in the military. The General Staff Department spent a lot of effort to recruit him. 2 years ago, Duan Lingmu was Yu Ruohuai's bodyguard and was responsible for his safety. He was only responsible for protecting Yu Ruohuai?" Wang Lan shook his head. "He was also responsible for dealing with things that weren't easy to deal with on the surface. But a week before Ms. Wang Qi was assassinated, Duan Lingmu took leave and disappeared. Disappeared to prepare for the assassination of my aunt. Should be. At that time, I also suspected Yu Ruohuai and thought it was Yu Ruohuai's order. But after I investigated Yu Ruohuai, I denied this speculation. You should know that Yu Ruohuai is pursuing Ms. Wang Qi, right? Are you sure it's pursuing and not intentionally getting close? I know Yu Ruohuai very well. He was a playboy when he was young. Women are just tools for him to satisfy his physiological needs. Since he was 18, he's had at least 800 if not 1,000 women. Because of his private life, he had an unspeakable problem. 10 years ago, he was diagnosed with low sperm activity and sexual dysfunction. Although there were still many women around him, he basically didn't have sex with them. For a lecherous person, this was very difficult to accept. At first, he crazily sought medical treatment, but later he gave up. Those women that were photographed by the media with him were just used to cover up his physical defects. It wasn't until he met Wang Qi at an entrepreneur summit a year ago that he, who was originally disheartened by women, began to seek treatment again. He didn't hesitate to spend more than 1 billion yuan to get Xianting biotechnology to develop a way to restore his masculinity. You want to say that Yu Ruohuai fell in love with my aunt at first sight? I admit that my aunt is indeed beautiful and charming. But for an experienced man like Yu Ruohuai, what kind of woman hasn't he touched? Besides, are you sure he didn't approach Annie on purpose? I know you've already investigated Qin Yaoting and Xianting biotechnology, which is related to Qin Yaoting. I can tell you now that Qin Yaoting was indeed sent by the Yu family to get close to Madame Wang Qi. Their goal was actually to cooperate with each other, not to steal anything. The regenerative cells were developed by Xianting biotechnology. The only thing missing was Madame Wang Qi's gene editing agent. While we're looking for the pharmaceutical technology, we've also handed over the regenerative cell technology to Ms. Wang Qi. If your goal is really just to cooperate, why do you have to play this little trick? Can't we just propose a cooperation openly? Sure, but don't forget the position of Madame Wang Qi and the Yu family. Wang Qi is Yin Emperor's younger sister, and our Yu family is behind Xianting biotechnology. How many people will be provoked by the cooperation of the two? And then, you still haven't explained why it can't be the Yu family? Originally, the Yu family's plan was for Qin Yaoting to leave after obtaining the gene medicine production technology, and then Xianting biotechnology to continue developing the longevity medicine independently. As for the X-gene cell project, to be honest, this was something Qin Yaoting did behind the Yu family's back. After knowing about Wang Qi's accident, The Yu family always thought that Madame Wang Qi and Chun Yaoting were researching the telomeres of ordinary cells. To let ordinary people awaken, it may seem like a great miracle, but to the Takashi Hoshi family led by the Yu family, this is a nightmare. If all ordinary people can awaken the Takashi Hoshi family's talent, what's the point of the Takashi Hoshi family's legacy? As for what you were worried about, you could use this to control the 1 billion ordinary people in the country and do whatever you want. Although the idea is beautiful, it's impossible. First, there's a problem. How can the awakening medicine be kept a secret? If Chen Yaoting can learn the technology from Wang Qi, can't others learn it from Chen Yaoting? If the Yu family really has this plan, then they must ensure that there's enough awakening medicine to move the people. But if the technology is only in the hands of 1 or 2 people, how can they produce it? Furthermore, the leak of the technology may seem 100% to us. No one in the Yu family is stupid. The Yu family has no intention of starting a war with Yin Emperor because no matter who wins or loses, everyone will suffer losses. The Jade State can take this loss, but the Yu family can't. So the Yu family's real plan is another one. But later, it was Yu Ruohuai who proposed another plan, which was to marry Madame Wang Qi. According to Yu Ruohuai, ever since he saw Madame Wang Qi for the first time, he thought that his love that came 20 years late had arrived. In order to move Madame Wang Qi, Yu Ruohuai really did a lot. You can ask Madame Wang Qi if Yu Ruohuai's pursuit in the past 2 years was not sincere. To Yu Ruohuai, this is the first time in his life that he took the initiative to pursue a woman. A month ago, he was secretly preparing a marriage proposal ring, spending 200 million to custom make a set of blue diamond jewelry. If our plan is to assassinate Madame Wang Qi, or if Yu Ruohuai wants to assassinate Madame Wang Qi after the completion of the awakening medicine, why would he spend so much money to do all this secretly? After Yu Ruohuai finished speaking, the atmosphere became extremely quiet. After a long time, Wang Lan stopped thinking and slowly raised his head. That's it. Although it makes some sense, it's too far-fetched. Wang Lan, you're not the kind of person who won't let go. I think you had some doubts before I came, right? I can't say that the Yu family is full of white lotuses, but they're not stupid to make a move on your aunt. Even if they don't kill Madame Wang Qi, the Yu family can still get what they want. Why would they start a war with you for no reason? Chen Yaoting's death has ruined the plan that the Yu family has been planning for the past 2 years. The Yu family has suffered the biggest loss. Now, I can tell you that there's a third party stirring up *T between the Yu family and you. As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Xinyu and the other 2 raised their eyebrows slightly. Although this movement was done very discreetly, Yu Ruohuai still caught it. What's the Yu family's plan? Wang Lan suddenly asked in a low voice. When Chen Yaoting came into contact with my aunt, he took out X-gene cells. I don't believe that Chen Yaoting didn't take it out in front of the Yu family. You cannot know the value of it, right? How would you bear to do it? The concept of X-gene cells is too advanced. It's more difficult than ordinary regenerating cells. Nobody believes that it'll succeed. Compared to the uncertain future of X-gene activation, it's more likely to develop ordinary cells that could divide infinitely. If there's a third party that you're talking about, what's his purpose? To provoke a civil war. Yu Ruohuai said without hesitation. This is a very obvious situation. Madame Wang Qi was killed first, and you suspect that it was the Yu family who did it. If they instigate the Yu family at this time, we'll think that it was you who did it, and you'll think that it was us who did it. Nobody can convince anyone, and we'll have to fight it out. Then, here's the question. How did the third party know about your plan and know that my aunt has basically completed the research and development of the awakening potion? From their actions, it seems that they have a very precise grasp of the situation. This, I haven't found out yet, but I'm sure that someone is stirring up trouble. This person is either hiding on our side, or there's someone on both our side and Wang Qi's side. At this point, Wang Lan suddenly frowned. A thought flashed across Wang Lan's mind. Instantly, Wang Lan's expression changed drastically, and he stood up. There's a woman with Yu Ruohuai. But we didn't find a woman's body in Yu Ruohuai's villa. What? Yu Ruohuai's villa? A corpse? Yu Ruiyun stood up and asked. Ruiyun, you still don't know? Jiang Xinyu asked hurriedly. I rushed to the hospital as soon as I got off the plane. When I arrived at the hospital, they didn't want to reveal your whereabouts. I went to Xinyu Building, and then I found this place. Yu Ruohuai's villa is at Xiangting Bay. We were going to investigate, but we found that everyone in the villa was dead. Even Yu Ruohuai was burned to ashes. It was then that Wang Lan suspected that there might be a third party behind this. Oh no! Yu Ruiyun's expression changed again. She quickly took out her phone and dialed a number. Dad, hurry up and suppress them. I'm afraid we'll fall into a trap if we're late. Yin, what's the matter? Don't worry, tell me slowly. I've already investigated that there's a third party trying to sow discord between us and Yin Emperor's people. Wang Qi is the third party's work. Now that the third party has assassinated Yu Ruohuai, our people will definitely blame this on Wang Lan. Someone from the 8th branch and the 9th door must be ready to make a move. Once the fight starts, no one can stop. I understand. The other party hung up immediately. At this moment, Wang Lan was tapping away on the keyboard and using Xiao AI to hack into the internet and search. Wang Lan, who's the woman you're talking about? There are 2 suitcases and several luggage bags in Yu Ruohuai's room. Obviously, Yu Ruohuai received someone's order to escape. Those luggage bags were probably carried by the bodyguards, so they were placed in the living room. The 2 suitcases in the room were probably carried by Yu Ruohuai herself. But why did she use 2? And a big one and a small one? I didn't realize it at the time, but what you said suddenly reminded me that the small suitcase should belong to a woman. But the woman's body was not found at the scene, and there were no traces of her body being destroyed. As a direct descendant of the Yu family and the person in charge of the Xianing Life Research Institute, Yu Ruohuai should know the overall plan and all the progress, right? He's the main executor of this plan. After all, no one would pay attention to an ordinary person like him. But he was paid attention to. With that, Wang Lan pressed enter, and a photo appeared in front of Wang Lan. Who's this woman? She's been with Yu Ruohuai for a long time, right? Chapter 453. Suru. Yu Ruiyun immediately said the woman's name. Suru is Yu Ruohuai's personal assistant. She comes from a poor family, but is excellent in her studies. Yu Ruohuai has been sponsoring Suru's studies since 12 years ago. Without Yu Ruohuai's support, Suru would have dropped out of school after graduating from primary school. To Suru, Yu Ruohuai saved her life, so Suru believes in Yu Ruohuai. Suru writes to Yu Ruohuai almost every month. She relies on Yu Ruohuai for both her studies and her daily life. In 2008, Suru was admitted to Kyoto University with excellent results. 2 years later, she got her master's degree and joined Yu Ruohuai. Yu Ruohuai took a liking to Suru because of her outstanding ability. Half a year later, Suru became Yu Ruohuai's personal assistant and managed Yu Ruohuai's business that is worth hundreds of billions. Did you investigate her? Is she suspicious? Wang Lan quickly asked. We investigate everyone who is close to the Yu family. Suru and Yu Ruohuai have been in a relationship for 12 years. Suru was raised by Yu Ruohuai. That's why we decided that Suru was trustworthy. We didn't expect that this trustworthy person would be the one who killed Yu Ruohuai. Why would a person who is absolutely innocent suddenly show her fangs? This Suru should be demons. Yu Ruiyun's eyes suddenly turned cold. The 2 words seemed to be squeezed out from between her teeth. If the third party is the demons, then it makes sense. Instigating a civil war among the Jade State's Takashi Hoshi family can weaken the Jade State's power. Assassinating Auntie can prevent the awakening potion from being released and also instigate conflicts. Killing Chun Yaoding can mislead us into thinking that they are killing him to silence him. They can also prevent the Yu family from getting the recipe of the awakening potion and further intensify conflicts. Even the demons' real purpose is not to instigate conflicts, but to cover up their purpose of preventing the awakening potion from being released. If that's the case, the demons won't give up on assassinating Ms. Wang Qi, Yu Ruoyun said in a low voice. Are we going to look for Sura now? Jiang Xinyu asked in confusion. Suru's identity was exposed after she killed Yu Ruohuai. So much time has passed. She has already run away and can't be found. That's right. Now it seems that Suru has been dead for a long time. Perhaps she was already a spy for the demons when she approached Yu Ruohuai. It seems like the puzzle has been solved, but the clues that can be traced back to Suru have been cut short. That might not be the case. Wang Lan suddenly thought of something and said, if the purpose of the demons is to prevent the awakening potion from being released, then the assassination of Auntie and Chun Yaoding would have to be deliberate. The main reason why Little Ant didn't die from the bullet was because she had been injected with the awakening potion. Therefore, the awakening potion was a success. Under this premise, Chun Yaoding could give the catalytic potion to another person at any time. Thus, the plan to kill Chun Yaoding became urgent. At this time, a phone call made Chun Yaoding panic. Chun Yaoding was in a hurry to rush to Lai City to arrange this car accident for the demons. So, why is this phone call so coincidental? You're saying that the demons made this phone call on purpose. Yu Ruiyun's eyes were cold. Perhaps Chun Junting is already a spy for the demons. Wang Lan tapped on the computer, and soon, a list appeared on the computer screen. Chun Junting suffered from viral kidney failure 3 years ago. There is no other way to treat this disease except for a kidney transplant. Dialysis is just a matter of time with the Grim Reaper. Although the organ cloning technology is still not mature and has not been promoted, Chun Yaoding is a top expert in the field of cells. It is not difficult for him to clone an organ. He can even clone an X gene cell, let alone others. Therefore, he did not know about Chun Junting's illness for 3 years. Then, what is Chun Junting's mentality that she would rather suffer 3 years of pain than tell Chun Yaoding about her illness? Chun Junting knows about her father's ability. Moreover, the doctors in the hospital have mentioned 2 treatment plans to her more than once. Either wait for a matching kidney in the organ bank, or use the organ cloning technology to create a kidney. I think Chun Junting wants Chun Yaoding to regret. Because of his negligence, Chun Yaoding's wife's illness was delayed and she eventually died. Now, because of his negligence, his daughter, who could have survived, died again. I think this blow will make Chun Yaoding regret it for the rest of his life. With such a mentality, Chun Junting's farewell call was a little unsatisfactory. To achieve the best effect, shouldn't it be a farewell letter and a farewell recording? When Chun Yaoding receives the news, his daughter is already cold. This will hurt her the most. Lan Zi, why do I feel that you are becoming more and more perverted? Do you have to make human nature sound so cruel? That's because you haven't seen anything crueler. Wang Lan smiled indifferently. Huh? Wang Lan suddenly stood up from the sofa. Seeing Wang Lan's action, the rest of the people curiously looked at the computer screen. The last column said that she was transferred to Sioux City National Defense Hospital on July 12, 2022. She was transferred to the National Defense Hospital? Were they targeting Ms. Wang Qi? What's going on? Why didn't the Heavenly Sword Bureau pay attention to such an important clue? Yu Ruiyun asked in confusion. That's not surprising. The reason for Chun Junting's transfer is very reasonable. Sioux City National Defense Hospital has the world's top organ cloning technology. Even the hospitals in Shanghai and the imperial capital can't compare. Before Chun Yaoding died in the car accident, he transferred 2 million to Chun Junting. This amount is enough to cover the medical expenses. Now that Chun Yaoding is dead, the grudge between her and Chun Yaoding is written off. Of course, she doesn't want to die. If we didn't suspect her, her transfer to another hospital would have been perfectly reasonable, and there wouldn't have been any problems. Let the Heavenly Sword Bureau have her under control. Yu Ruoyan quickly asked. No, this time the demon spy really shot himself in the foot. A smile suddenly appeared on Wang Lan's face. I didn't think of this possibility at first, but Chun Junting's transfer to another hospital gave me a clue. Let's go to the hospital. The group rushed to the hospital. It was already late at night. Even the lively night market in Sioux City gradually quieted down. The air seemed to be brewing a kind of stillness, a stifling stillness. When they arrived at the hospital ward, It wasn't Zheng Xiaoma who was on duty, but Li Ge. The moment Wang Lan opened the door, Li Ji's eyes instantly opened. In his eyes, there was a flash of light. Why are you here? Zheng Xiaoma has been on duty for 48 hours. I'm taking over for her to let her sleep for a while. Today, there seems to be some movement in the bureau. All the brothers are on standby. I feel like this has something to do with you. They were on standby, but suddenly they're at daggers drawn. You weren't such a gossipy person before? Wang Lan looked at Li Ge with some confusion. She never used to talk much, but when she saw Wang Lan today, she seemed to have a stomach full of sour water. Almost all the brothers are on standby, but I was asked to replace Zheng Xiaoma to take care of Madame Wang Qi. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this arrangement, but I feel like we're being deliberately targeted. I've been in the Heavenly Sword Bureau for 6 or 7 years, and this has never happened before. If I'm not wrong, the reason for being targeted can only be related to my background. Wang Lan, are you going to start a war with the Takashi Hoshi family? No. Wang Lan waved his hand and came to his aunt's bedside. Madame Wang Qi just fell asleep. Li Ge raised his head and glanced at the people who came in with Wang Lan. Finally, his gaze landed on Yurun. Princess Yu? Truly Ge, long time no see. You're still the same as before. You've changed a lot. The last time we met, you were still in junior high, right? When I saw you, I knew that my intuition was right. It's only because you're here that the alarm was temporarily lifted, right? Let's not talk about this first. Li Ge, get someone to go to the inpatient department and find out who was transferred from the outer court in the past 3 days. You suspect that someone has snuck into the hospital? Li Ge immediately thought of Wang Lan's motive and asked. If the demon's goal is to stop the awakening potion from being released, then in their eyes, Aunt must die. Soon, Li Ge brought the list of patients who were transferred to the National Defense Hospital. There were only 3 of them. Other than Chen Junting, the other 3 had no obvious problems. Could I have guessed wrongly? Wang Lan asked doubtfully. There's more than one way to achieve a goal. Maybe the demon's plan is different from what we thought, but I don't think we're wrong about their goal. If we don't bait them out, there will always be a sword hanging over Ant's head. This makes me unable to calm down no matter what I do, Wang Lan said irritably as he paced back and forth. Then let's lure them out, Yurian suddenly said. Ow, what's the reason why Suru killed you Ruahuai today? If we assume that the demon's real goal is to stop the awakening potion from being released and instigating a civil war between us is to cover up their real goal, then is there another purpose behind this instigation? Luring the tiger away from the mountain. Wang Lan suddenly shouted in surprise. He closed his eyes and began to deduce the demon's plan. After about 3 minutes, Wang Lan suddenly opened his eyes. That's right. Yu Ruohuai died tonight. What was the Yu family planning to do? Of course, they're going to attack the Heavenly Sword Bureau and Yin Emperor's faction. There will be movements both in the open and in the dark. Shangsu City will be very lively tonight. If we use all our energy to deal with this, won't the hospital's protection be weakened? This will give the demons an opportunity to assassinate Ant. Wang Lan said. Yu Riyun's face revealed a smile. Wang Lan, why don't we beat them at their own game? Okay. On the other side, in a quiet park in Sioux City, on the path around the artificial lake, a few figures suddenly appeared in the wee hours of the morning. More and more figures appeared. After a while, dozens of figures appeared. None of them spoke. They quietly gathered together and walked in silence. Why hasn't the Yu family attacked Wang Lan yet? Suddenly, a person broke the silence. Yu Riyun arrived in Sioux City ahead of time. Maybe he suppressed the Yu family. Can Yu Riyun suppress the entire Yu family? Barely. Yu Riyun has placed a lot of hope on the Yu family. If it's not necessary, the Yu family will not break with Yu Riyun. Then think of another way to make Sioux City move as soon as possible. If we make a move, it'll be easy for the Yu family and the Heavenly Sword Bureau to notice our existence. When that happens, they'll point their spears at us. It'll be difficult for us to deal with them. Compared to the horror of the awakening potion, it'll be worth it even if we all sacrifice ourselves. There are 6 billion humans. If all of them awaken the warrior talent, what advantage will our army have? Chapter 454. Let's wait a little longer. We'll wait for another hour. If they still haven't moved, we'll execute Plan C. The atmosphere quieted down once again. The group dispersed and disappeared into the forest. On the other side, after Urian made a call, the Yu family's machine that had stopped moving suddenly started moving again. Beep, beep, beep. Suddenly, Wang Lan's phone rang. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's emergency support order was displayed on Wang Lan's phone. Xiangwen, Sinew, I'll leave this place to you. With that, Wang Lan disappeared in a flash. Yu Ruiyun hurried after him. The two turned into streaks of light in the air. Less than 5 kilometers away, a terrifying murderous intent locked onto Wang Lan. Wang Lan's figure paused abruptly as an attack landed. Colonel Wang Lan, please wait. Opposite Wang Lan and Yu Ruiyun, 5 black figures appeared silently. Wang Lan glanced at them and sneered. 5 titled battle pet warriors from the Yu family. Aren't you thinking too highly of me? Colonel Wang Lan is an expert on the same level as our princess. How would we dare to underestimate you? Okay, how many of you are here? Yu Ruiyun took a step forward and shouted. Apart from us, the Jiangling guards from the Zhenjiang Palace, the Taisui guard from the Changshu Palace, the Dongming guards from the Donghua Palace, and the Red Flame guards from the West Capital Palace are all here. Hearing this, Wang Lan's expression changed. These guards were all famous in the Takashi Hoshi world. Although they couldn't be compared to the Vermilion Bird guards, any one of them could be ranked in the top 20 guards in the world. 4 of the top 20 guards in the world were here. If this wasn't a drill, Sioux City might have been destroyed. If I didn't call you, what would you have done? Yu Ruiyun looked at the 5 title battle pet warriors and asked indifferently. Blood for blood, of course. Even if the Yu family is no longer a royal family, we won't allow others to bully us. Ever since the war, not a single direct descendant of the Yu family has been harmed. Blood for blood? You want me? Wang Lan's expression turned cold as he asked. The 5 people on the other side remained silent, which could be considered as a tacit acknowledgement of Wang Lan's guess. Drink? The Yu family is really daring. Originally, Wang Lan thought that the Yu family would make a fuss at the very most, but he never imagined that the Yu family would be so daring as to kill him. Let's not talk about whether or not they could kill him. Even if they made a move against him, it would cause a civil war. Wang Lan's current status and reputation was no longer the youth he once was. If the Yu family dared to lay a finger on Wang Lan, the National Defense Department would immediately launch a counterattack plan. Yin Emperor's faction would definitely spare no effort to take revenge. Anyone who had the slightest misgivings would think twice before acting. However, the Yu family did not care about this situation at all and actually intended to steal the tower from behind. At this moment, Wang Lan could only think of one word. Crazy. Is this third grandpa's order? I don't know. I can only say that it's an order from the higher-ups. The leader of the titled battle pet warriors said truthfully. When did the Yu family become so arrogant? Yu Ruiyun's voice was a little sad. This was her family, the Yu family. Could it be that the Yu family, who was once the ruler of the imperial family, who could control the clouds and rain with a flip of their hands, did not even know about such tactics? To take something in advance, one must first give it. If one wants to destroy someone, one must first make them crazy. These were all things that the Yu family used to play with. Now, they were actually being used on their own heads without them knowing it. The Yu family was so numb that they could not even see the guillotine in front of them. No matter how strong the Yu family was, and how strong the Takashi Hoshi families were, could they be stronger than a country? Could they be stronger than the Jade State, which had a population of 1 per billion? Second Princess, it's not that we are arrogant, but they have gone too far. The dignified Yu family is being ostracized and treated differently everywhere. Do they not think about who the Jade State belongs to? I think if our ancestors knew about this, they would resent us for not living up to their expectations, right? Yu Ruiyun's figure flashed in an instant. She grabbed the other party's throat and pressed him against the wall. Shut up. Seeing this scene, Wang Lan's eyes were filled with doubt. Yu Ruoyun's reaction was a little too extreme. Could it be that this sentence had some other meaning? The Jade State belongs to everyone in the world. It belongs to every citizen of the Jade State, not just one person. This is the ancestral teachings of the great ancestor. How dare you say that our ancestors know about this? If our ancestors knew that you are a bunch of bastards who forget your ancestors, they would be so angry that they would clean up the family. Well, neither of us can convince the other, but you'd better keep your little minds to yourself for the night. If anyone dares to disregard the righteousness of the family, you can kill yourselves. Yes, Wang Lan had heard about the conflict between the Yu family and the Jade State. But because of his relationship with Yu Ruoyun, Wang Lan never dared to think too much. But today, it seems that the situation has reached a point where it can't be reconciled. The Yu family can't forget their pride and their identity as the imperial family. And the country is afraid of that, so it restricts the development of their power and suppresses them outside the center of power. And the more the Yu family can't get it, the stronger their obsession with power. For 70 years, under the brainwashing of generations, the Yu family's hatred for the Jade State has become more and more uncontrollable. It turned out to be an Uchiha clan. Wang Lan sighed with a bitter smile. What Uchiha clan? Yu Ruoyun asked curiously when she heard Wang Lan's voice. It's nothing, I just said it casually. At the same time, in various places of Sioux City, such as the airport, train station, bus station, etc., the confrontation between the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family has begun. Although no one received the order and no one made the first move, the tense atmosphere instantly filled the air above Sioux City with a murderous aura. At this moment, Su Xiangwen, who was waiting in Wang Chi's ward, suddenly opened his heaven's eye. He quickly took out his phone and dialed Wang Lan's number. Hello, Xiangwen. Wang Lan, the fish took the bait. There are dozens of people here, and they're quickly approaching us. They have already started fighting with the brothers outside. Damn, they are too strong. The brothers outside were killed in an instant. I didn't even have time to warn them. I'll be there soon. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan grabbed Yu Ruoyun's hand and disappeared in an instant. Seeing Wang Lan disappear, the 5 titled battle pet warriors in front of them were stunned. From the beginning to the end, they didn't notice how Wang Lan disappeared. This guy, what's wrong with him? One of them couldn't help but ask. It should be a space-type Takashi Hoshi skill. Apart from the space type, I can't think of any other way to slip away under our noses. It seems that even if we go all out today, we won't be able to keep Wang Lan here. On the other side, there was a slight ripple in Wang Chi's ward, and Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun appeared in the ward. At this moment, Wang Chi had been woken up. Jiang Xinyu and CSCC looked in the direction where Wang Lan appeared. It wasn't until they saw that it was Wang Lan that their expressions changed slightly. Xinyu, CC, you just need to be responsible for Ani's safety. Leave them to us. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan's figure instantly turned into a flying butterfly. At the same time, dozens of people wearing the Yu family's emblem rushed toward Wang Chi's ward like cannonballs after taking care of the Heavenly Sword Bureau soldiers outside. Suddenly, a flying butterfly appeared in front of them. Wang Lan's figure appeared in an instant, and the 10-meter Zanpakuto turned into a stream of light as he swung it. 3 figures didn't have time to dodge and were instantly split in half in the air. The rest of the figures flashed and appeared in the open space of the hospital. Wang Lan, weren't they 5 kilometers away? Why are they here? Wrong information. Boom! Suddenly, a figure rushed out from the ground and punched the person who spoke in the chest. Yu Ruoyun's punch instantly smashed the person who spoke, and green mucus scattered everywhere. How dare you with the Yu family's emblem? You're courting death. Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun are both here. The mission has failed. No, the mission can't fail. Go. As soon as they finished speaking, the dozens of people in front of them tore off their human disguises and revealed the form of demons. Moreover, the strength that these people exuded was very oppressive, surpassing all the high-level demon spies that Wang Lan had encountered before. The demon spies would be suppressed by the laws of the human world. Even if their strength in the outside world was far superior, they would be suppressed to an extremely low level here. Wang Lan had previously uncovered many elite demon spies, and even the strongest was only at the galaxy realm. This made Wang Lan think that the demon spies were at most at the galaxy realm. But now, more than 40 spies in front of him were all at the galaxy realm. If these spies had appeared a year ago, Sioux City wouldn't have been able to survive the several crises. Had the demons held back their strength before? Or had something happened during this period, and their strength increased again? But now, Wang Lan didn't have time to think about this question. Boom! The 3 high-level demons, spies, suddenly shot 3 energy light pillars at the hospital behind them. Any one of them had the power to destroy a building. Even if his aunt was protected by Jiang Sinew and the others, if the building collapsed, it would still be a threat to his aunt. Wang Lan instantly flashed, crossed space, and arrived in front of the building. He pressed down on the void. Yellow Springs domino. Boom, boom, boom. Gates of the Yellow Springs that were more than 20 meters tall rose from the ground. Not only did they block the independent building, but they also surrounded the entire small garden area. The movement was like a bolt from the blue, waking up the inpatient department. The inpatient department, which was originally quiet, was instantly filled with people. Many doctors and nurses on duty ran out of the building. When they saw the majestic gates of hell in front of them, they all went limp and fell to the ground. Even if the hospital was a passage between the 2 realms, there was no need for the gates of hell to appear. Right? Boom! The 3 light pillars instantly hit the 3 gates. But even if the demon's spy's strength had increased, they were still far from Wang Lan, who had steadily reached the titled realm. After doing all this, Wang Lan's lips curled into a smile. His figure flashed, and he disappeared. Demons' combat strength couldn't be said to be weak. They were natural warriors. Whether it was close combat or elemental attacks, demons of the same level had a far greater advantage than humans. But these advantages were too small in front of geniuses like Wang Lan and Yu Ruiyun. The strength of the 2 had long surpassed their peers. No matter how strong the bone armor was, it couldn't withstand a light slash from the Zanpakuto. Even the powerful Takashi Hoshi technique couldn't withstand a light punch from Yu Ruiyun that contained anger. It's all your fault. You're the ones who tried to sow discord between the Yu family and Wang Lan. More importantly, you've lowered the trust one have in Wang Lan's heart. Thus, all of you deserve to die. With this resentment, Yu Ruiyun's attack became wilder and wilder. Chapter 455. Boom! Yu Ruiyun blew up a demon spy with a punch, and the resulting shockwave instantly sent the surrounding demons flying. Then Wang Lan's figure instantly turned into an afterimage, and the few demon generals that were sent flying were all blown up by Yu Ruiyun again. That brutal scene made even Wang Lan tremble in fear, let alone the demons. Gradually, Wang Lan stopped. He realized that although these demons were not weak, they were nothing in front of Yu Ruiyun. There was no need for him to do anything. Besides, Wang Lan felt that there was something wrong with Yu Ruiyun's condition. There was a sense of danger. Boom, 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 oh my God. What kind of woman is this? Su Xiangwen, who was standing by the window on the 2nd or 3rd floor, could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Yu Ruiyun's figure was as fast as lightning. Every time she attacked, she would take away the life of a demon. Moreover, these demon spies died very miserably. They were all blown up by a single punch. This was because this was a hospital, and Yu Ruiyun had some scruples. If it was in the wilderness or in a different space, Yu Ruiyun's Takashi Hoshi technique would have left them without a corpse. Su Xiangwen believed that Wang Lan was already fierce enough. When he graduated from high school in his 3rd year and obtained the title of the strongest high school student in the history of the province, he was already invincible among his peers. After hearing the legends of Wang Lan over the years, Su Xiangwen firmly believed that no one in the same mountain range could be compared with Wang Lan, so it was not shameful to be crushed by Wang Lan. Even if he knew that this woman was the peerless princess Yu Ruiyun, who was known as the first genius in 1,000 years, she could only be compared with other geniuses. She could not be compared with Wang Lan, who could not be classified as a human. But the scene in front of him had broken his understanding. Yu Ruoyun's strength was far beyond his imagination. He had seen Star Sea Realm cultivators before, but he had never seen a Star Sea Realm cultivator beating a Star Sea Realm cultivator, as if they were walnuts. Ruoyun is the only person I know who hasn't been shaken off by Wang Lan after he caught up. A year ago, Wang Lan had said that he had no confidence in beating Ruoyun. A year later, Wang Lan still said the same thing. Only Ruoyun can match Wang Lan in both talent and strength. Jiang Xinyu only revealed her envy and fear at this moment. Boom! A series of explosions rang out, and the originally aggressive demon spies were instantly left with only one person standing out. The demon spy was still in a daze. He looked around at his compatriots who had already turned into green slime. The next moment, he made a strange move. His finger turned into a sharp-boned spike and pressed against his chest. That place was where the demon's energy gem was located, which was equivalent to the function of a human heart. As a demon, why did you make such a threatening gesture in front of a human? Yu Ruoyun did not understand, so she stopped and looked at the demons in front of her in confusion. Wang Lan, stop that crazy B***TCH. Otherwise, I'll die in front of you. The voice of the other party was actually a female's voice. However, after hearing those words, Wang Lan was unable to hold it in any longer. Don't you want to know what the Yu family is doing in the dark? Do you think they're researching infinite rebirth cells just for the awakening potion? They want to create a god? They want to restore the dynasty. You're Suru? No, you should be the demons who replaced Suru. Yu Ruoyun is killing people to silence them. The Yu family's plan is to overthrow the Jade State. Do you want to know? I can tell you everything. Wang Lan looked at Yu Ruoyun's back, then looked at Suru in the distance and sighed softly. Ruoyun, kill her. Boom! Suru did not even have time to react before Yu Ruoyun's attack landed on her body. In an instant, countless cracks covered her body, and with a boom, she exploded in the air like a crushed balloon. Their appearance proves that Yu Ruohuai's death has nothing to do with me. Can the Yu family stop now? Wang Lan looked at Yu Ruoyun, who turned around and asked calmly. Yes, they should be able to stop now. But the assassination of my aunt can't prove that the Yu family has nothing to do with it. Even if the demons are stirring up trouble, the Yu family still has a motive. You still don't trust me? You should know what the prerequisite for trust is. Honesty. A gentle breeze blew, and a commotion could be heard in the distance. The Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family's reinforcements had arrived. Let's go and find a place. The demon's spy had been killed, and now that the reinforcements had arrived, the safety of her aunt should not be a problem. Wang Lan hesitated for a moment, then followed Yu Ruoyun in a flash. The two of them did not go far, and they found a rooftop in the hospital. Yu Ruoyun came to the railing and looked at the lights in the distance. I originally didn't know about that matter. If it weren't for your call, not to mention me, even my father might not know about it. The matter started 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there was a rainstorm in the capital that was hard to come by in 100 years, and almost half of the capital was flooded. After the heavy rain, a corner of the imperial mausoleum in the eastern suburbs collapsed. As the ancestral tomb of the Yu family, we naturally had to renovate it. The imperial relatives were in charge of renovating the imperial mausoleum. When they were renovating the king of Jiangshan's mausoleum, they accidentally discovered that the coffin of the king of Jiangshan was empty. At that time, the imperial relatives thought that a grave robber had stolen the imperial mausoleum. You can imagine how angry we were at that time. I seem to have seen it on the news. At that time, there was a crackdown on grave robbers. It seems that nearly 1,000 of them entered within a year. Wait, isn't the eastern suburbs imperial mausoleum the emperor's mausoleum? Only the emperor can be buried in the imperial mausoleum. Then, the king of Jiangshan is... It's just that this king of Jiangshan is too special. The king of Jiangshan lived during the era of the martial emperor and lived through the 3 emperors, Emperor De, Emperor Wu, and Emperor Rong. The records of the king of Jiangshan in the history books have been deleted. Other than the Yu family, there should be very few people who know about the king of Jianshan. The king of Jianshan is the 8th son of Emperor De. He has been extremely smart since he was young and has peerless talent. At the age of 8, he awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent. At the age of 30, he was already invincible in the world. His invincibility is not just invincibility like the 5 emperors, but true invincibility. It was even said that the king of Jianshan had already reached the level of half immortal. He only needed to take half a step to become an immortal. Become an immortal? Wang Lan asked in surprise. Yes, become an immortal, because the strength of the king of Jianshan back then had indeed reached the level of an immortal. Unfortunately, the year the king of Jianshan was born, the demons had just been repelled. When the demons attacked again, he had already died. It was his regret that he didn't leave a mark in the Great War of the Demons. However, there was another incident in the records of the Yu family. 600 years ago, North D suffered a rare snow disaster. Countless cows and sheep froze to death, and North D mobilized the entire country to attack. 200,000 Takashi Hoshi soldiers were threatening the north. At that time, the Great Jade Empire was still in a state of prosperity. When the war report from the north reached the capital, North D had already attacked less than 300 miles away from the capital. The Great Jade Empire was in a mess. That day, the king of Jianshan, who had been in seclusion for many years, came out. He just told the martial emperor that he wanted to test his sword. One man and one sword went out of the capital and went northwest. That night, the sword energy traveled for 30,000 miles, and the sword light shone in 19 provinces. The next day, the king of Jianshan came back in white clothes, and then he went into seclusion again. This time, he didn't come out until he died. The next day, the war report from the front line came again. The 200,000 Takashi Hoshi soldiers of North D were all killed in one night. Even the 4 national masters who had reached the Star Soul realm at that time were beheaded. The king of Jianshan slaughtered the 200,000 Takashi Hoshi soldiers of North D alone with his sword. The 800,000 soldiers who came with him didn't dare to stay in the Jade State any longer. They even left the money and food that they had robbed. 200,000 Takashi Hoshi soldiers? Is it exaggerated? Wang Lan looked at the back of Yurien in shock and asked while smelling the fragrance of her long hair. It's not exaggerated. North D won the war by surprise. At the end of the year, when no one believed that they would suddenly attack, they attacked. Moreover, they were very flexible, and they directly attacked the capital. Moreover, North D couldn't survive the winter at that time. The heavy snow came suddenly, and 90% of the cattle and sheep were frozen to death overnight. Later, it was also recorded in the history books that less than 10% of the grassland of North D survived, and all of them were starved to death. Horrifying cannibalism was common. The legend of that war was attributed to the Jade State's early preparation. North D saw that there was no chance for them to take advantage of, so they retreated. Therefore, the martial emperor got the title of Marshal Posthumous. But only the direct descendants of the Yu family knew that there was an immortal-like figure in the Yu family's ancestor. Because of this, the king of Jianshan could be buried in the imperial mausoleum. Speaking of this, what does it have to do with the secret of the Yu family? Do you want to say that the king of Jianshan is still alive? He's already immortal, so you want to study the method of immortality? Wang Lan asked with a chuckle. Wang Lan didn't dare to say that it was impossible. But if the half-immortal king of Jianshan was still alive, how could the benevolent emperor abdicate and end the dynasty era? The king of Jianshan is still alive. Yu Ruoyun's voice was somewhat bitter. Later, the imperial relative's mansion found that the imperial mausoleum didn't have any traces of being robbed. All the items in the tomb were crushed when it collapsed. Later, we found a clue in the coffin of the king of Jianshan. It was a secret message left by the king of Jianshan, a special language that only the descendants of the Yu family could understand. The general idea was that the king of Jianshan wanted to break through the immortal realm and reach the immortal plateau in his old age. But when he found the immortal plateau, he found that the path to immortality had been closed, and the grievance-settling platform had been destroyed. Although there was more than one immortal plateau in the world, the king of Jiangshan was nearing the end of his lifespan. The belief of the king of Jiangshan was to become an immortal, so he was naturally unwilling to accept this. Chapter 456. This is the Yu family's real plan? That's right. That's why it's not worth it to assassinate Madame Wang Qi. To the Yu family, success is just a step away. As long as they can get the medicine that can create longevity cells and successfully revive the king of Jiangshan, the awakening potion and the ability to control the awakening of ordinary people are not important. Now Chen Yaoding is dead, Wang Lan said leisurely. Yes, Chen Yaoding is dead. The only one who can create the longevity potion is Madame Wang Qi. The Yu family will not let anything happen to her. It's late. Let's go back. What are you going to do? Yu Riyun turned around and looked at Wang Lan with a smile. For the past few years, I've been plotting against others. I didn't expect to be plotted against by you today. Even if the demon's spy didn't exist, you would still tell me this secret, right? Why do you say that? Yu Riyun raised her head stubbornly. If I don't tell you, you'll have to report it to number one. As the young master of the Yu family, it'll be hard for you to reveal the family's biggest secret, right? It's not easy for you to find a balance between the Yu family and the country. If I tell you this, you can stay out of it. Maybe you can agree with me during the clan meeting and scold me for being a good-for-nothing. Yu Riyun covered her mouth and laughed. Aren't you afraid that the Yu family will get angry and find trouble with you? Would they dare? I also like to see how they can't wait to cut me into pieces, but can't do anything about it. All right, you didn't tell me this. It was the demon spy called Suru who told me. She told me this secret to stir up internal strife in the Jade State. So no matter what, I'll do it openly. Thank you. It's my pleasure. The two of them disappeared from the rooftop in a flash. The demon spy was completely wiped out. The truth about the assassination of her aunt was finally revealed. All of this was the demon's conspiracy. The Yu family had spent 5 years of painstaking effort, and seeing the cooked duck fly away, they would definitely be infuriated. However, no matter how infuriated they were, they could only endure it and not push the blame to Wang Lan. After Wang Qi was assassinated, it was only natural for Wang Lan to track down the culprit. The Yu family could only blame themselves for not being strict enough, allowing the demon spies to mingle around them without them knowing. Yu Ruohuai's mouth was loose. How could she let an outsider handle such a confidential matter? Congratulations to the host for unraveling the demon spy plot. The reward is 800,000 experience points and 10,000 skill points. Congratulations to the host for resolving a civil war in Jade State. The reward is 1 million experience points and 20,000 skill points. The two messages popped up at the same time, and Wang Lan's mood suddenly became relaxed and happy. Although the demon's threat seemed to have come to an end for the sake of his aunt's safety, Wang Lan almost never left her side, until his aunt's body fully recovered. In less than 10 days, his aunt, who was severely injured, could move freely. Today, his aunt was discharged from the hospital. Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, and the others found a restaurant to celebrate their aunt's discharge. Looking at the happy children in front of her, the smile on Wang Qi's face never faded. Auntie Wang, congratulations on your recovery and discharge from the hospital. One who survives a great disaster is bound to have good fortune in the future. I wish Auntie Wang endless good fortune in the future. Jiang Xinchen said sweetly beside Wang Qi. You're such a sweet child. I just hope that all of you can be safe and sound. Your safety is my blessing. Speaking of which, I'm the only ordinary person among all of you. I thought that the injection of the awakening potion would awaken the Takashi Hoshi. It seems like I was dreaming too much. Aunt, didn't you say that the awakening potion wouldn't work in one go? Do we need to inject it for a long time? Wang Lan asked doubtfully. That's just my optimistic guess. There's another possibility that the potion can only be injected once. The second injection won't work. Forget it. We'll study it later. Let's eat first. Everyone was Takashi Hoshi. The scene of eating was unimaginable. Although everyone was eating in a refined manner, the amount of food they ate would usually scare children. Oh yeah, the first document from the higher-ups has been released. I might have to leave, Wang Chi suddenly said when they were almost done eating. Leave? Wang Lan's chopsticks paused. Where are you going? For my safety, the higher-ups want me to work at the Military Research Center. Although I don't think it's necessary. It's the first document after all. I can't reject it. I'll spend most of my time in the safe zone. I'll only come back occasionally. Huh? Where are you going? Well, I do if you leave. Song Jia exclaimed. He almost cried. You'll go with your mother, of course. I don't know where exactly. I only know that it's in the West. Not only have I mastered the gene potion technology, but more importantly, I've mastered the awakening potion technology. The gene potion is only used to cure diseases. Even the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine is only used to cure the Takashi Hoshi toxin. But the awakening potion is too eye-catching. The Takashi Hoshi clan is fine, but the demon spies see you as a thorn in their side. Actually, I'm also thinking about this problem. With your importance, Sioux City's environment protection can no longer meet your requirements. The West, I heard that there are few people there. It's a barren place. Song Jia poked the cake in front of him and said unhappily. Who said that? That's old news. The Jade State has been talking about the development of the West for so many years. Do you think it's just for show? Which major city in the West is worse than Sioux City? It's better to stay in Sioux City. Don't worry. Since the higher-ups have made such arrangements, they will definitely take care of your life. They definitely won't let your life be boring. But, Andy, what's your plan for Jiajia's studies? I originally planned to send her to Wudong Mountain, but I didn't expect this to happen. Now that I'm protected, my only weakness is you and Jiajia. I'm not worried about you, so Jiajia probably can't go to Wudong Mountain. Oh yeah, your head. I talked to the higher-ups yesterday. They agreed to choose a suitable teacher for you. Her auntie was discharged from the hospital, and Yu Ryun stayed in Sioux City to deal with the aftermath. When Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu returned to the Xinyu building hand in hand, they saw Yu Ryun leaning against the telephone pole at the entrance of the Xinyu building from afar. Ah, why are you waiting for us here? Why didn't you call me? I know you're celebrating Ms. Wang Chi's discharge from the hospital. It's not convenient for me to disturb you. Yu Ryun raised her eyebrows and looked at the two's lovey-dovey appearance. You're already in Sioux City. Are you still so fearless? We're openly dating. How can you say we're fearless? Wang Lan pursed his lips and came to the door. The automatic door suddenly opened. The three of them took the elevator straight to the top floor. Sit anywhere. Just treat it as your own home. I'm going back, Yu Ryun said directly after sitting down. It's about time. When? This afternoon's flight. Last time, you didn't say anything before you left. By the time we knew you were about to get off the plane. Why did you specially come to say goodbye today? Why are you panicking? Wang Lan and Yu Ryun's relationship had long reached the point where they could casually insult each other. On the other hand, although Jiang Xinyu and Yu Ryun had been in the same dormitory for many years, they were still separated by an invisible wall. Yeah, last time I left without saying goodbye, because I knew that even if I left without saying goodbye, you wouldn't really be angry. But this time, even if I specially said goodbye, you might not really care. Can you not be so sentimental? Didn't I say it's all in the past? It's really all in the past. Yu Ryun looked at Wang Lan seriously. You don't blame me at all in your heart? The Yu family is the Yu family. You are you. I don't like the Yu family, but you're a friend I acknowledge. How can I so easily throw away all the life we've gone through over the years because of these things? My thoughts are so complicated. It's not refreshing at all. At the end of the day, I'm still a woman. But Ryun, I've always treated you as a brother. Cough, cough, cough. Yu Ryun almost spat out a mouthful of juice when it entered her throat. All right, I know you're naughty. The first order has been issued. The Yu family will hand over the king of Jiangshan unconditionally. Did he agree? What reason can he have not agreed? The medicine that can revive the king of Jiangshan is in someone else's hands. How can he not agree? The country won't make any concessions on this matter, so he has to hand it over even if he doesn't want to. The longevity medicine is allowed to continue research, but the country has the final say on whether to give it to the king of Jiangshan or not. After all, the demons are already starting to stir. One more king of Jiangshan is one more fighting force. Where does the country plan to put the king of Jiangshan? He should be in the same place as Madame Wang Qi. The security level is the highest, and the confidentiality level is the highest. Even the security level of number 1 can't compare to that place. An hour later, Yu Ruiyun stood up. I'm leaving. We'll send you no need. You've worked hard for many days. I won't delay your happy time. My car is waiting for me downstairs. You don't have to send me off. We'll meet again if fate wills it. Yu Ruiyun waved her hand and turned to enter the elevator. The moment the elevator door closed, an inexplicable sadness surged into Yu Ruiyun's heart. This incident ultimately left a scar between her and Wang Lan. Sioux City's airport was less than 1/10 the size of Shanghai's airport. Most of the flights were domestic. Yu Ruiyun had just bought her ticket and was about to head to the departure hall when her phone suddenly rang. Yu Ruiyun picked up the phone. Hello, Dad. I just sold the plane tickets. What? Zhenjiang City, the king of Zhenan's mansion. It was built near the river and covered an area of 5 square kilometers. It was one of the few well-preserved ancient buildings in Jade State. It was also the residence of the Yu family's king of Jiangshan. But today, heavy clouds covered the sky of the king of Zhenjiang's mansion. Luxurious cars were parked outside the king of Zhenjiang's mansion. At this moment, more people were rushing over. The second princess is here. In the king of Zhenjiang's mansion, a person suddenly said in a low voice. A group of old and young people in the house walked out of the mansion's gate and bowed slightly when they saw Yu Ruiyun walking over. What's going on? Have you checked? Yu Ruiyun came to the front of the old man and asked in a low voice. It's the work of an expert, and this expert is more powerful than we imagined. I estimate that this person's strength is not below Emperor Qing's. Is it demons? No, it's more like Takashi Hoshi. Princess, could it be that you're killing the chicken to warn the monkey? Do you think the king of Zhenjiang's mansion is a chicken? It's one of the 6 great clans of our Yu family. Yu Ruiyun shouted with grief and indignation. This matter is no longer something I can handle. I'll call Uncle and ask him to do it himself. Hearing this, the old and young people in front of her were delighted. In the Yu family, the only one who could order Emperor Qing around was Yu Ruiyun. Chapter 457. The underground parking lot of the Sinew building used to be the training ground where Wang Lan trained every day. Ever since Wang Lan's strength reached Nebula, this training ground had never been used again. Below Nebula, one could still improve their strength through regular training, but above Nebula, regular training was no longer useful. But today, in the abandoned training ground, a petite figure seemed to be a projection of Wang Lan, moving around the training ground with difficulty. Looking at Song Jia, Wang Lan's figure from many years ago appeared in front of his eyes. At that time, Wang Lan hadn't awakened his talent and was just an ordinary person. At that time, Huang Feilong wouldn't be as merciful as him, only using a tennis ball instead of attacking. Thinking back to when he was only 12 or 13 years old, he was beaten by a burly man who weighed more than 75 kilograms with a fist the size of a sandbag for more than an hour. Even with protective gear, the scene was unbearable to watch. I'm still too merciful. You have to combine body and mind. When the mind moves, the body moves, not when the mind moves first and then the body moves. By the time you see the tennis ball flying towards you, it's already too late to dodge. You should have dodged the moment you saw the tennis ball flying towards you. Wang Lan shouted loudly, and the tennis ball in his hand turned into a stream of light and shot toward Song Jia. The tennis ball accurately hit Song Jia's chest, and his body instantly flew backwards and hit the isolation rope. Pa! Prostrating himself on the ground, the standard starting position of the toad stance. Whoa, brother, you're bullying me. Song Jia cried. He was full of confidence when he came, but now he was crying miserably. You call this bullying you? This is just regular training. You've already awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent, and your body stats are far superior to ordinary people. You also have the great strength talent. To be honest, even some star-blazing Takashi Hoshi's body foundation can't compare to yours. When I went through this kind of training, I was just an ordinary person. If you can't even withstand this kind of training, I advise you to cancel your Takashi Hoshi certificate as soon as possible. Don't talk about becoming a powerful Takashi Hoshi in the future. 90% of a Takashi Hoshi's achievements are due to hard work, and 10% is due to talent. No matter how good your talent is, it will be wasted on you. Woo woo woo. The Song Jia was still hugging his knees and crying bitterly. In that case, let's take a break. In the end, Wang Lan couldn't harden his heart and said with a sigh, "No." Song Jia stood up and shouted in a fit of pique. "Then what do you want? Continue." "Oh, you're worth teaching." Wang Lan was very satisfied and gave a rare compliment. "I don't have any other thoughts. I just want to beat you up sooner or later." I've never suffered such a loss in my life. Looking at Song Jia's pretentious but cute expression, Wang Lan's temperament was very good. His childish temper was just that he didn't want to admit defeat. "Brother, although I can understand what you said about combining body and mind and moving at will, but how do you do it? Don't you have a gentler and more convenient way? Do you know what the shock reaction is?" The corner of Wang Lan's mouth slightly hooked up into a smirk. "What shock reaction?" Suddenly, Wang Lan's finger pointed at Song Jia's feet, and an arc of electricity flashed, instantly spreading to the bottom of the Song Jia's feet. In an instant, Song Jia's whole body bounced up and retreated 6 or 7 steps. "Brother, what are you doing? I'm going to die." Every child was born with a fear of lightning. You see, didn't you dodge quickly this time? When a person is frightened, there are only 2 situations. The first is that they are too frightened to move, and the second is that they dodge quickly. And this kind of fast-dodging state is what I meant by combining body and mind. In that state, do you still have time to consider whether I should dodge or not? But when cultivating or fighting, you can't combine body and mind in a frightened state. You need to remember this state. Your body needs to be ready, but your mind needs to be incomparably calm and clear-headed. Suddenly, Wang Lan stopped talking, and Xiao Ai's voice sounded in his ears. "Wang Lan, Wang Qianfeng is here. You practice the basic movements first. I'll be right back." At the elevator entrance, Wang Lan saw Wang Qianfeng's dignified expression. Seeing Wang Qianfeng's expression, his heart suddenly thumped. "Wang Lan, I just received news that the entire Zhenjiang Prince's mansion was massacred." Zhenjiang Prince's mansion. I remember now. It's you, Ruohuai, the prince of the Zhenjiang Prince's mansion. Wait, Uncle Wang, you don't suspect me, right? You've been in Sioux City for the past few days, so of course it's not you who did it. But the Zhenjiang Prince's mansion being massacred can be considered the biggest case in the past few decades. Seeing Wang Qianfeng's dignified expression, Wang Lan was somewhat baffled. Wang Lan didn't have a good impression of the Zhenjiang Prince's mansion. Although the truth had been revealed, and his aunt's assassination wasn't the work of the Yu family. But if it wasn't for Yu Ruohuai, how could his aunt be targeted by the demons? Thus, after hearing this news, Wang Lan's heart didn't waver. Although he didn't want to laugh, he didn't feel anything. The Zhenjiang Prince's mansion has many experts. A titled expert and 12-star Sea Realm experts were massacred in an extremely short period of time, and they didn't even have time to send out the alarm. The Zhenjiang Prince's mansion was only discovered 6 hours after the massacre. Although I didn't see the scene, the information has been sent over. Judging from the traces at the scene, it was done by one person. Most people were killed before they could even react. Uncle Wang, you mean? You want me to investigate? You want to investigate? Aren't you afraid of being skinned alive by the Yu family? This matter has already alarmed the Azure Emperor. I'm here to tell you that the demons are making a big move. An expert of this level is estimated to be on par with the 5 emperors. Moreover, I can't think of any other reason why they would massacre the Zhenjiang Prince's mansion at this time, other than to vent their anger. There aren't many people in the entire Jade State who can guard against such an expert. Hearing this, Wang Lan immediately understood. He's here for Auntie? Then, Wang Lan shook his head. That's not right. Massacring the entire Zhenjiang prince's mansion. Isn't this a warning to us that we should take precautions early? If I were the demons, the first thing I would do would be to assassinate my aunt. I can't figure it out either. As for Wang Qi, I'll need your protection. Understood. I'll bring my aunt here. Before I bring her to a safe place, I'll stay close to her. At the same time, the Azure Emperor, Yu Qing, also arrived at the Zhenjiang prince's mansion. Is the autopsy report out? It's out. Yu Riyun held the file and said, the injuries on everyone's body are very strange and very terrifying. Their eardrums were ruptured, their brains were in a mess, and their internal organs were all ruptured. However, their skin was not damaged at all. That's why they died with blood flowing out of their 7 orifices. The most puzzling thing is that the guards of the Zhenjiang prince's mansion couldn't be moved. They couldn't be moved? Yes. A few Star Ocean Realm experts clearly reacted. At least, they realized that there was an enemy attack. However, they didn't make any counterattack until they were killed. The murderer seemed to have entered from the front door and killed everyone he saw, all the way to the backyard. No one in the entire Zhenjiang prince's mansion was left alive. Emperor Qing, the person who did this is too ruthless. Since ancient times, killing people is just a matter of time, but killing an entire family is intolerable. Even during the emperor's reign, the previous emperors never gave the order to kill the entire family. However, this massacre actually happened in our Yu clan's imperial clan. Not only must blood be repaid with blood, but it must be repaid tenfold. What do you think we should do? Granduncle, we still don't know who the murderer is. Even if we have to pay with blood, we still have to find the culprit, right? Yu Ruoyun frowned and couldn't help but say, there aren't many people who have conflicts with the Zhenjiang prince's mansion. There's only one person who dares to do this to the Zhenjiang prince's mansion. Do we still need to find the murderer? Oh. Uncle wants to say. Yu Qing raised her eyebrows and asked doubtfully. Apart from Yin Emperor, who else could it be? Yin Emperor's behavior is unreasonable and unforgiving. He has done a lot of outrageous things in the past. She has always been reckless. This time, her sister suffered such a big loss. She even slaughtered the entire Zhenjiang prince's mansion to avenge her sister. The Zhenjiang prince's mansion is very powerful. There are only 5 people in the Jade State who can stop them from sending out an alarm. If it's not Yin Emperor, could it be Emperor Xian, Emperor Ming, or Emperor Bai? Yin Emperor? Impossible. Emperor Qing shook his head and denied. When Yin Emperor makes a move, it must be scorching hot. Emperor Qing, if you say it's her, then it's her. If she says it's not her, then find the real murderer and prove it's not her. Hearing this, Yu Riyun's face darkened. Granduncle, do you still want to deliberately provoke conflict? Do you want the Jade Nation to be in chaos before you're satisfied? Those who create chaos will be killed. However, we can't just accept this loss. Using this as an excuse, we should get some benefits. Moreover, there are only a few people in the Jade State who can do this. If it's not her, then it must be one of the experts secretly trained by the Jade State. Don't think that I don't know that number 1 has the list of names of the assassins. Uncle, do you really not know who it is, or do you deliberately want to slander us? Emperor Qing looked at the old man who spoke. Although I don't know who it is, it can't be outside of this range. Emperor Qing, do you want to say that it's not someone from the Jade State who did this? Then it's interesting. How did a foreign expert of this level come to the Jade State? And why did he come all the way here to slaughter the entire Zhenjiang prince's mansion? Uncle, do you think that the birds of paradise can survive the International Security Committee's encirclement for decades because they don't have any trump cards? The person who did this didn't hide anything. His name is Sony. Sony? From the host country? No. Although he's called Sony, he has never stayed in the host country. You don't even know him? It seems that you haven't cared about the people and things in the world for a long time. Sonic speed, Sony, the fastest person in the world. He's also the number 1 expert of the birds of paradise. 10 years ago, Wang Ling and I worked together to hunt him down. We chased him for a month, but he still managed to escape. From this, it can be seen how difficult it is to deal with him. Birds of Paradise? Why would the Birds of Paradise attack the Zhenjiang Prince's mansion? The Birds of Paradise are the enemies of the entire world. It's not surprising that they would attack anyone. Moreover, the Birds of Paradise are traitors to the human race. They worship the demons as gods. Is there need to ask them why? Ruiyun, that's where you're wrong. Emperor Qing shook his head. Did you notice Yu Yuzo's eyes? Eyes? Yu Ruiyun looked at Yu Yuzhua, who was already dead. Although he was dead, his eyes were still open. Suddenly, Yu Ruiyun's expression changed. His eyes are dilated. When he died, he was already insane. The demons haven't given up yet. They obtained information about the source jade from Yu Yuzo's body. This time, let me personally escort the source jade. Chapter 458. For the next few days, Wang Lan stayed close to his little aunt to protect her. Even her food and drink were all checked by the Heavenly Sword Bureau before being sent to Wang Lan's house. Finally, it was time to send his little aunt to the Western Military Reserve. This time, the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the military were both escorted by a special plane. There were 17 off-road vehicles parked in front of Wang Lan's sinew building. They were all bulletproof and explosion-proof military vehicles. In each vehicle, there were two people who were similar in size to his little aunt, Jia Jia. For this escort, the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the military did their best. Sitting in the vehicle, Jia Jia, who was always active, was especially nervous. It wasn't that she was afraid of an assassination, but she couldn't help but be nervous. Even if nothing happened, looking at the serious protection, she felt that something was going to happen. The convoy arrived at the airport without a hitch. However, there were many pedestrians on both sides of the road who stopped to watch. Who could enjoy such a high-level escort? They didn't hear about number 1 coming to Sioux City for an inspection. When they arrived at the airport, the entire airport was temporarily closed for an hour. Other than the staff, all the passengers in the airport were cleared. A group of armed soldiers lined up neatly on both sides of a small plane. When the convoy arrived, all the soldiers stood at attention. The door in the middle opened. Wang Lan got out first, then opened the door for his little aunt and Jia Jia. Wang Lan immediately opened the trunk. The trunk was full of luggage. Madam Wang Qi, this trip to the Western Military Base 74 will be escorted by the Northwest War Zone's Black Tiger Takashi Hoshi Special Forces team and the White Tiger Independent Squad. A soldier with a colonel's epaulet came to Wang Qi and reported. Her little aunt had never experienced such a situation before. She was a little helpless. You've worked hard. Wang Lan walked over with his luggage and smiled. Don't be so serious. Be more natural. The other party glanced at Wang Lan's epaulet, and a look of surprise flashed across his eyes. Such a young senior colonel, not to mention seeing the Astral Sea Realm powerhouse before his eyes had never even heard of him. After the luggage was moved, Wang Lan and Wang Qi held Song Jia's hand and boarded the plane. Originally, the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Takashi Hoshi Army of the Northwest Military Region would be escorting them together. However, the Heavenly Sword Bureau only sent Wang Lan. It wasn't that the Heavenly Sword Bureau didn't care, but if Wang Lan alone couldn't guarantee his safety, it wouldn't matter how many of the Heavenly Sword Bureau's brothers came. After boarding the plane, Song Jia looked out of the window curiously. Little Ant's survival was in line with the Yu family's interests. This person, was he the one who massacred the Zhenjiang mansion? Wang Qianfeng was about to go crazy. He personally drove the car and increased the horsepower to the maximum. The off-road vehicle was driven by him like a race car, rampaging on the road. Ding ding dang dang, the phone rang. Wang Qianfeng furrowed his brows in annoyance. Who the hell is calling at this time? Did they find out that something happened so quickly? Answer it for me. Wang Qianfeng shouted at Su Shiyun, who was beside him. Su Shiyun was also scared out of his wits. He frantically took out the phone from Wang Qianfeng's pocket. When he saw the number, he immediately jumped up. F***CK. F***CK your head. Who is it? It's Wang Lan. Screech. Wang Qianfeng slammed on the brakes. The dozens of cars following behind him immediately slammed on the brakes. Those who couldn't stop in time quickly changed lanes. They were just a step away from a tragic car accident. However, Wang Qianfeng couldn't care about anything else. He quickly answered the phone. Wang Lan, you're still alive? How's Wang Qi? Uncle Wang, little aunt, Jia and I are all fine. Where are you? I'll pick you up right away. At home, in Sinew Building. Wang Qianfeng was silent for 3 seconds before he reacted. Are you sure? Yes. Uncle Wang, the plane was not attacked by a bomb. It was Takashi Hoshi. Other than the 3 of us on the plane, the others might not be able to survive. Don't say it first. I'll be there soon. Wait for me to arrive. They turned around on the spot. They didn't care if they were driving in the opposite direction. The 14 cars rushed down the highway and rushed to the downtown area of Sioux City. Although they were lucky to survive, Wang Lan didn't dare to relax. The master who attacked the plane was someone Wang Lan didn't have the slightest confidence to deal with even if he used all his strength. Moreover, Wang Lan couldn't guarantee that the other party didn't know that he had escaped. If they knew, it was inevitable that they would come after him. Time ticked by. Half an hour later, the surroundings were calm and tranquil. Within a few seconds after the plane exploded, the news had swept through the phones of all the higher-ups like a hurricane. In the few seconds that Wang Qianfeng and Wang Lan were on the phone, Wang Qianfeng's phone had at least 20 missed calls. Wang Qianfeng, what's going on? Didn't you say that you've already done the inspection? The first person to call Wang Qianfeng was Lu Zhao. As soon as the call was connected, he was bombarded with questions. Director, first of all, Madame Wang Qi is safe now. Wang Lan saved Madame Wang Qi in Songjia. I can only know the details when I see Wang Lan. I'm now rushing to Wang Lan's location. Are you sure? Are you sure you're not hypnotizing yourself? Wang Lan just called me. I can guarantee it with my head. Director Liu, please report to the relevant departments that you're safe. I don't have time to deal with it. Please. The demons trembled as they gradually took off their disguises and returned to their original appearances. Low-level demons looked very disgusting. The head of an octopus with a human body, or the head of a crocodile with a duck-like body. Suddenly, Wang Lan felt the star energy of the 2 demons violently fluctuate and rush straight to their heads. Still want to self-destruct, Wang Lan coldly shouted, and the electric current from his hands converged into an electric net. Seal for me. Compared to the demons, the methods of the birds of paradise were even more ruthless. Every bird of paradise had a technique engraved in their mind. As long as someone tried to invade or reveal their secret, the technique would immediately activate and explode their brain. Demons didn't engrave techniques in their own minds, but demons were very unyielding. 70 years after the war, the Heavenly Sword Bureau had caught at least 800 demons, if not 1,000, but they had never caught one alive. As long as the demons confirmed that there was no hope of escaping, they would immediately choose to self-destruct. This was also related to the social structure of demons. Demons were like bees. They had a clear identity and position from birth. What they did was set in stone from the moment they were born. But their position wasn't determined by their inheritance. Low-level demons could also give birth to children who were destined to be high-ranking. If it wasn't for Wang Lan's strength, he would have been able to seal the demons before they could react. Even if he was a second late, the 2 demons could have self-destructed. Releasing his hands, the 2 demons fell to the ground like 2 dead fish. At that moment, the sound of a car braking could be heard at the entrance of the Sinew Building. Wang Lan had brought the 2 demons home and directly threw them in the living room. Little Ant and Song Jia, who had been observing through the crack in the door, slowly opened the door. When they saw the 2 demons, they couldn't help but slightly shrink back and let out a hurried cry of surprise. Aren't these the legendary demons? After the shock, Song Jia suddenly curiously walked in front of the two demons and poked the demons with their dead fish eyes. How can there be such creatures? It doesn't conform to the laws of biological evolution at all. The existence of demons itself violates the laws of science. It doesn't matter what they look like. These two guys thought little Anne had been killed and came here to find the research materials for the catalytic potion and destroy them. Even if they left the research materials, they would have been sent to the national database. Why would they leave them at home? Wang Lan, Colonel Wang Qianfeng is here. When the elevator door opened, Wang Qianfeng was stunned when he saw the two demons lying on the floor of the living room. What's going on? Let's do it now. After saying that, Wang Lan stretched out his palm. One of the demon spies was sucked into Wang Lan's palm. Then he clasped the demon's spy's head tightly. A wave of star power surged, and a green wave of star power rippled out. After a long time, Wang Lan let go of the demon spy who had become an idiot and slapped the other spy's head. After about 10 minutes, Wang Lan opened his eyes. The reason why it took so long was that the demon spies had too much experience. They were all chosen to stay behind when the demons retreated. Although they only had the strength of small fries and nebula under the demon's law domain, their true strength was at the peak of the Star Sea realm. From the brains of the two demon spies, Wang Lan not only learned the location of the remaining spy network in Sioux City, but also learned secrets that Wang Lan did not dare to guess before. These secrets were not secrets to the demons, but to the human race, at least Wang Lan did not know. The United Nations should have deliberately concealed them. Why were the demons suppressed by the law when they descended to the human world? The law was not the law of heaven and earth, but the law of man. About 10,000 years ago, the human world had the gods and the heavenly court, and the demons also had the demon god clan. The two low-level demons in front of him definitely did not know about the battle back then, but he knew a little about the result. The demon gods were banished to the space-time turbulence by the gods, perhaps to the edge of the universe. In the end, the gods were wiped out, and only a few ancient gods were left. The law suppression was the work of a few ancient gods. The earth god of the west, Gaia, and the earth goddess of the east sacrificed themselves to merge with the earth's will. This was the last thing they could do to protect the human race. After merging with the earth's will, the solar system would be hidden among the stars. No life form or civilization outside of space would be able to detect the solar system approaching Sky Blue Planet. And on Sky Blue Planet, any non-human life form's strength would be suppressed. The stronger they were, the stronger the suppression. This was also the reason why the human race could still jump around in front of the powerful demons, even though the human race's cultivation civilization had been declining for countless years. Another mystery was also solved. Why did the demons invade the human race so many times, but they always seemed to stop at the most crucial moment? It felt like they were harvesting leeks. It was also because of the existence of the two gods. The two ancient gods had merged with the planet's will. So unless the human race was in danger of being wiped out, they would not attack. And the demons were banished to space-time and did not return. The demons also knew that even if they wanted to wipe out the human race, they would eventually be wiped out by the will of the two gods. So they simply harvested leeks and destroyed the human race's civilization bit by bit. When the demon gods returned, they would wipe out the human race. Moreover, his previous foundation was still there. Therefore, he looked much more spirited than other 70 or 80-year-old men. The legendary half-immortal king of Jiangshan. How can I not pay my respects to him? How was your journey? Is it still peaceful? I was on high alert the whole way. Sony was not stupid and did not try to snatch it. Although Yu Qing's expression was refined, his words revealed a strong sense of confidence. Sony did not dare to make a move on Yuanyu, so he went to Sioux City. This afternoon, Wang Chi's plane had just taken off. Before it could even fly out of Sioux City, it was destroyed by Sony. What? Then Miss Wang Chi. Wang Chi is fine. Fortunately, Wang Lan personally escorted her and used teleportation to save them at the crucial moment. But the 17 soldiers who participated in the escort, Yu Qing frowned slightly. Can Emperor Bai, Emperor Ming, and Emperor Xin free themselves? Not for now. Although Wang Lan's strength is not bad, compared to Sony, there is still a big gap. Sony's motive was very clear. They were using their speed to create a diversion. They wanted to use guerrilla warfare against us. And I am sure that Sony will soon know that Wang Chi is fine and will make a move soon. I can only make a trip to Sioux City, Yu Qing said with a serious expression. If you go, who will protect you on you? Think of something. I don't believe that the birds of paradise can keep an eye on us. Sioux City. Night had completely fallen. Originally, Wang Lan's mission was to protect his little aunt. However, considering that Sonic Speed user Sony would be there, Wang Lan had no choice but to participate. Although they said that Sony was strong and that Wang Lan was not a match for them. But even if he was not a match for them, he could still fight a few rounds. Wang Lan was now at the peak of the galaxy realm. His strength was not below that of a titled warrior. If he activated his Phoenix form, the Dragon Phoenix form would have the strength of a half-step astral soul. The spatial Phoenix form could save his life. Furthermore, Wang Lan had left his coordinates in the Heavenly Sword Bureau to ensure that the Heavenly Sword Bureau would be able to rush back in time if they were attacked. Wang Lan, Liu Zhao, and a few Astral Sea Realm experts from Jin City launched a surprise attack on the Demon's spy headquarters. The rest of the people were all on the list of suspects. The night was still bustling with lights and feasting. On the streets, people came and went. In silence, the citizens hidden outside the inconspicuous chess and card room in the remote old campus in the White Elephant District slowly evacuated. In order not to alert the enemy, the Sioux City guards were all dressed in plain clothes. They even disguised themselves as pedestrians of all kinds. The chess room was not open for business today. However, there were shadows flashing in the room. The flickering lights shone on these shadows. As the lights flashed, the shadows on the walls were sinister and terrifying. Suddenly, a gentle breeze blew in, causing the curtains to sway slightly. A figure mysteriously appeared in the room. That person was wearing a tight black suit that clung tightly to his skin. Even his head was covered by a hood, leaving only two cold eyes visible. The shadow did not feel uncomfortable at all when he saw the demons in the room. A low voice rang out. You sent me more than 10 secret messages to ask me to come over. What do you want? Mr. Sony, we just received news that Wang Chi is not dead, the leader of the demons said in a low voice. Impossible. I saw Wang Chi board the plane. The plane was destroyed by me. No one on the plane survived. We have absolute confidence in Mr. Sony's abilities. However, please take a look at this. The demons took out a stack of photos. Sony took a look and was shocked. In the photo, Wang Lan, Wang Chi, and Song Jiao were in the Heavenly Sword Bureau's car and drove away. At first glance, Sony thought it was the photo of the Heavenly Sword Bureau escorting them to the airport this afternoon. However, the time shown in the photo was 3:30 p.m. Sony clearly remembered that the plane took off at 3 p.m. Mr. Sony, please don't worry. The time in the photo is definitely correct. Although I don't know the reason, Wang Chi and the other two are not dead. Perhaps they did not board the plane at all. The plane that took off today was just a bait. It can't be a bait, Sony replied in a low voice. He recalled the moment when he shot down the plane. He felt a fluctuation of space attribute star power. As an extremely fast speed user, he was more sensitive to fluctuations in space than others. Even if there was a slight fluctuation in space, he would be able to sense it. However, he thought that his attack had caused a tear in space, so he did not pay much attention to it. Space attribute star power? Sony's eyes instantly turned cold. Sony could confidently say that no one in the world was faster than him. No, he could proudly say that no one could match his speed. Among the 12 astral soul realm experts in the world, his speed was the only one. Because of his speed, he could go anywhere he wanted. Whether it was the Jade State or the White Eagle State, he could not hide his identity. So what if you find out? Who can stop me? However, Sony knew that if there was a space attribute Takashi Hoshi in the world, he would be worried. The only thing that could restrain his speed was the space attribute. No matter how fast you were, even if you were fast enough to catch up to light, you still needed time. However, space attribute star power could ignore distance, and time attribute star power could ignore time. Bird of Paradise is number 2 on the must-kill list. Sony's eyes were filled with killing intent. Then please die. As soon as he finished speaking, Sony's figure disappeared in a flash.